Welcome to Dolly Talk. How is everybody doing? My bag of ice there. All right. So we got the Goebel versus Hopkins defamation trial, day three-ish. Plaintiff testifies yesterday, but today, basically. Um, he is really obnoxious, and we'll try to get through as much as we can. I am hoping to get through. I want to know what that small bag of ice is for. My arm. I have tendonitis in my elbow. So, yes, Babu. Okay, hi there. Yes, Babu says hello, everyone. All right, so we're going to get started here. Heading. So, Mr. Goebel is taking the stand. He's a sweetheart.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you are about to give in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? You may be seated.
I can use
Good afternoon. Could you please introduce yourself to the jury?
I'm Chuck Goebel, Charles Goebel. I have a weak voice. I have a lung illness. And if anyone can't...
I'm an effeminate man.
Well, Chuck, introduce yourself to the jury, but it's you and me.
I have a weak
Please speak up
voice.
to the best that you can.
Okay.
Dr. Goebel, where do you live?
4171 Maxwell Drive, Mason, Ohio.
How long have you lived there?
We moved in June 2001, so 24 plus years.
All right. Tell me about how you chose that location.
I'll back up and be brief. In the year
I start
2000,
now.
Diane and I were blessed with our fourth kid. Surprise.
Ew.
We had three older ones, and our house suddenly shrunk that we were in with the fourth baby. She was sharing the
I hate people who talk
master
like this
bedroom
so
with
much.
us, the primary bedroom with us. So anyway, 2000 started, and I got sick. I was first diagnosed with pulmonary sarcoidosis then. So we asked a realtor. I went to the doctor, and they said, basically, for sarcoidosis, you need sleep and stress reduction. I couldn't get any sleep with a 3-month-old in the bedroom. So we decided to move. We asked a realtor. The realtor said, there's some houses in Mason. So I told her what I needed. I'd like to have 4 bedrooms for the kids, one being a nursery. And if we could have a primary one on the first floor, because I was having trouble walking steps. And she goes, I've got a house in mind. And it was 95% built. So we made an offer on it and got it. That's why we chose it.
Who built that home?
Bernie Croman.
Who did you buy that home from?
Bernie Croman, his company.
Okay. Was that in 2000
Companies.
or?
No, sir. May of 2001. And then we moved.
Look at that little gulp he did there.
All right. Tell me what do you work?
So I moved in 2001. I was working.
This is
please,
the question that I asked is, do you work?
I'm retired.
All right. When did you retire?
I've never seen a lawyer get pissed off on direct.
November 2003.
All right. What did you do for work before you retired?
I was a dentist.
And how old were you when you retired?
I was only 48.
Tell me about the circumstances of your retirement.
Did not want to retire. Here's the circumstance.
Did
I
not
moved
want to
to
retire.
Maxwell 2001 because 2000 I got an illness. I tried to manage it. It got worse. And in 2003, my heart started
It
fluttering.
was the worst possible thing that could
went
happen in
to the doctor. He says,
2001.
"Go to the hospital." I'm in the hospital in the cardiac
Hey, man.
ward, Christ Hospital. And they said, we have to do some tests. They put me on a gurney or table, took me back, and a cardiac surgeon, all gloved up, was going to do a procedure. And I
On
flatlined
my prostate.
for 8 minutes. They brought me back. I talked to my doctor, and he said, in 2000, when you had sarcoid, it was pulmonary, we recommended retiring. Then he said, this time we don't recommend you're supposed to retire. So I was doctor's orders.
And that was when?
April 28th, 2003. And then I retired shortly afterwards.
Okay. Dr. Chung told us that you had a pacemaker implanted at some point, I believe.
I've had 7. I've had 7 pacemakers, and to be strictly speaking, they're more involved in pacemakers. It has a defibrillator too.
Okay.
Oh
I'm
my
not gonna-
God.
You want me to have a briefer answer, sir?
No, just for that,
No.
I'm not gonna ask you to testify about pacemakers.
Okay.
I'd like you to talk to me more about sarcoid, though.
Mhm.
What effect did sarcoid have on you prior to your retirement?
All right. I'll try and be brief. Sarcoid is a multi-organ illness where your body
Oh, I
attacks
start
itself.
now.
And you can definitely tell when you're getting a flare. You first get body aches all over, arthritis, body aches. The next thing you get is brain fog. You just can't remember things. And then the next is fatigue.
Jerry
where
wishes
it's
they had brain
debilitating.
fog
Just
right
the thought
now.
of going across the room to get a glass of water, it's not worth it. Lastly, in my case, it went to the heart. I was getting palpitations, and then the heart stopped. But the worst is the lungs, and you get wheezing when you breathe, tightness. The worst is this shortness of breath. All of a sudden, you can't get your wind. And lastly is a dry cough with the wheeze, and that hurts the sleep, and you're already fatigued. So that's how it affected daily life. And they told me stress reduction and sleep. That's what I needed.
All right, we'll talk more about what you did to manage the disease, but you had said something about joint pain. How does that, in your sarcoid, how does that manifest?
Okay. Again, I'll try to be brief. My sarcoid is
Oh my
a
God.
variation of it called Lofgren syndrome. It's very rare, where you get sarcoid arthritis. It's very similar to rheumatoid arthritis. And
Spoiler, he's not very brave.
it's nothing works. Your knees, your ankles,
Your
in
dick.
particular, just trying to hold a coffee cup sometimes is really difficult. Prednisone's a miracle drug for it, and it gets rid of it.
Let's move in then to what you've done to manage your disease. And we're going to break this down into portions, okay? So while you were still working, what did you do to try to manage your disease?
Doctor told me 2 things, very simple: lower stress and get quality sleep. So
I picked a
I
battle with my
resigned
neighbor.
from being the treasurer for my high school class with the reunion coming up, gave that to other people.
Ew.
I resigned from being a trustee at the
Wait, you were working as a treasurer for your high school reunion class? Old man Goebel wanting to relive his glory days? Being shoved in lockers? What? Like, who? I'm sorry. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but I didn't even go to my graduation. I wanted nothing more to do with that. My high school. I never even picked up my diploma. They mailed it to me after 5 years. So this is just he is so insufferable.
church. I cut out all sorts of
Sorry,
coaching,
Chuck, if you're watching.
my kids' sports teams, and just doing things in the community. I cut back all that so I could just chill. Is what they told me to do. Just chill, get sleep. The biggest thing is sleep. And
And this is about the same time that you moved, correct?
that's why I moved. Yes, sir.
All right, so when you had to retire, what did you change to help manage the disease?
I cut back all of the things I mentioned before, plus work, which was very difficult. I had a thriving dental practice. That was my
Should cut back on being a
family with patients
douchebag.
coming in. I saw generations, so I stopped work. But more importantly, I got sleep. And right after we moved, I didn't tell you this, just before we moved, the house where we lived had a basketball court and a driveway right next to our master bedroom, our primary bedroom. And we were
Oh,
awakened at night.
he says master bedroom, realizes that's politically incorrect and switches it to primary bedroom. Wow.
We had spotlights. These kids are great kids, our neighbors, but they would play ball at all hours and argue if they was inbounds or out of bounds and wake us up. So when we moved, I looked in the lot
I didn't like
next to
that
me.
noise.
It was empty. And I said, Bernie Kerwin owned all those lots. And I said, can I buy the lot next to me just so I can have some peace and quiet and get sleep? So in your question, I remember it. So you asked me, what did I do? Sleep. That was number one. Lower stress. I resigned from things and just chilled at home. And the lot next door was very quiet.
Your Honor, can I make just a request to counsel? The counsel stay behind the podium, because when he moves over here, I can't see the witness.
Okay.
Do you really want to?
No, right behind is fine. Or that side's fine, but then you're blocking
Just stand at the podium.
Yes, sir.
Stand at the podium.
For time, to clean up the timeline, when did you buy the lot next door?
Within a few months after I moved in, which would be a few months after June of 2021, and
2021?
excuse me, 2001.
Okay.
June 2001 is when I moved in. I'm going to give you a time period, so I don't guess. It was within the first 6 months, certainly, after that.
Okay. Sleep, you bought the lot next door. What else did you do to get your disease under control?
Prednisone and stress reduction. Just the biggest one was sleep, quiet, enjoyment of my home.
At some point, we've heard that lot was conveyed back to Bernie Croman. Could you explain to the jury how that happened?
In 2003, my heart stopped and I retired. For the next 2
my
years,
God.
my health went down. Dr. Walters, my primary care, said, I don't think you're going to.
How did the lot get transferred back to Bernie? Well, my health really took a downturn and things were bad for me. This started about 20 years ago. Sir, answer the freaking question.
If it keeps getting worse, your rejection fraction. I really was nervous. Finally, at the end of 2005, beginning of 2006, little flip of the switch, I started feeling better. And they took x-rays on my chest, and instead of all these lymph nodes lighting up with the body, my immune system fighting my heart and lungs again, it went in remission. 2006.
Okay.
So I was
Yay.
feeling better. And
So it's basically he bought the lot next door to him for peace and quiet. But he started to get better and then decided, and then somebody, well, he'll explain it, but basically when he did sell it, the guy who is agent or whatever put a restriction on the neighbor's property that he can't build anything, any like garage or anything on the property line. So the plaintiff thought that was the seller, or the neighbor knew that. The neighbor, though, bought the property from Bernie, whatever his name was, who's in jail right now for fraud and all kinds of shady dealings. So the neighbor really didn't know there was that restriction on the deed. So it was just a cluster F of all proportions. And hi, Tracy, how are you?
right at that time, I got a ring on the doorbell and a gentleman came by and said, you have the last lot in the Heritage. I want to buy it. And made a bona fide offer. And I said,
Bona
no.
fide offer?
What price can I put on my health?
Ugh.
And I said, I'm not going to sell it.
Ew.
Later that year, in roughly December of 2006, I got a call from Bernie Curlman. And he said, I want to buy the lot. And I said, no, I want quiet. And he says, I'm coming over.
I want to
He
fling
said, if you
dog
sell me
poop
this lot,
onto this guy's
I will
yard.
put the garage away from you. He goes, I said, well, I don't want a basketball court there. He goes,
I don't like that black sport.
I don't know what to say about that. So Bernie, I'm not interested. So I called a real estate attorney. Bernie's out of the picture now for a couple of months, and said, I don't want anything built there if I do sell it. So he put in the,
ultimately, we're getting towards the deed that you ended up drawing up. Is that
that's
correct?
what I'm saying.
All right. That's already been entered as plaintiff's 28. I'm going to approach you with what's been marked as plaintiff's 28. You can take a look at that.
I mean, I'm not saying this guy's a racist.
Is that what eventually
but
came of these discussions?
Exactly. Yes.
Who did you have draw that up?
Michael Reed of Porter off the right. That's close. It's a law
there's
firm.
a basketball
Porter
court, they
something,
might
something
play
Reed.
that black
Is it on the last
music.
page of that document?
Yeah. Porter Wright, Morris, and Arthur. Close.
So when you had that deed drawn up, who did you actually convey the lot to?
When you say convey, you mean sell?
Yeah, who did you sell that lot to?
Bernie Curlman.
Did you know Tim Hopkins at this point?
No, I had not met him at all.
Talk to me a little bit about your relationship with Bernie Curlman. Between buying the house in 2001 and selling the lot back to him in 2007, how often did you see him?
When we first moved in June of 2001, he did something called an inspection. So he fixed a couple minor things. Then I didn't really see him again until November or December of 2006. And then I sold him the deed in 2007, January. And other than when he was building the home and I waved to him, there was no communication at all.
Are you social with Mr. Curlman?
No.
Does he belong to any clubs that you belong
Put
to?
money on his commissary.
Okay, I'm gonna try and be short again.
Oh, God.
He did belong to the Heritage Club, which Diane and I did. And then with all the arthritis in the hand, I could not golf, so we resigned as a golf member. But
And they
apparently
also
the golf
started
club was
admitting
there.
Jews, and I didn't
Yeah.
like that.
But if you ask me a question, did he belong to a club? I did. We were only social members, and I think he was a golf member of the Heritage Club. So yes, the same club.
What's the Heritage Club?
Heritage Club is a development in Mason. It's essentially a golf club that has a restaurant there. And it had a house that fit my description with 4 kids and a bedroom where I could get some sleep. And it was in a good school district. So
More importantly, how many members are there at the Heritage Club?
I was told not to guess. I'm going to just pure guess.
More
it'd
than,
be
well, let me
a
ask you
few
this. Can you swear that it's more than 10?
hundred. Oh, yes.
Can you swear that it's more than 100?
Babu. I know.
Yes.
Beyond that,
I
I won't
know
ask you to
that.
guess.
Well, good.
So tell me about these restrictions that are actually in this deed. We talked about number 1 on page 1.
Oh.
Yes.
We talked about number 2 on page 1. Tell me why number 1 on page 1 of plaintiff's 28, and if I could publish that to the jury, Your Honor, and we can just
Okay.
see this on the screen.
Sure.
So this number 1 here in the second portion, is that a term that you insisted on when you sold it to Bernie Curlman?
That was the primary
Oh, yeah.
restriction, was not to have a driveway or a garage of any sort attached or detached garage.
This
Well, it looks
lawyer
like
is so
garage and driveway is number
frustrated.
2. You see that at the start?
Have recorded only a single family resident with attached garage. I'm sorry. Yes, the first one, I'm reading it, and yeah, that was in there. I did not, for the record, request that from Michael Reed, the attorney that drew it up. I
Okay,
said,
so,
I just want quiet. He goes, I've got you.
Sure.
so the purpose of this term was what?
You're speaking of number 1, sir.
Number 1
Yeah.
specifically, correct?
That would be to make sure that I could get quiet enjoyment of my home. And that if someone was going to do something next to the primary bedroom, I would have a say in it. Like, really not, could we talk about this? And that's what that was all about, is quiet.
Okay, let's move on to number 2, which has also been discussed. Could you tell me why number 2 was placed in this deed?
Correct. If cars were coming at all hours, day and night, that's got to affect your sleep if it's a few feet from the bedroom at the same level. So I just, again, it's all about quiet.
So more importantly, the west side of the house for Mr. Hopkins' house, where is that?
Okay, it's away from the bedroom. Let's say we were looking at that wall. Mr. Hopkins' former home, the Barrys live in now, is to the right, and I'm to the left. Diane and my bedroom is on the right side of my house, and Mr. Hopkins' house is there, okay? So our bedroom's on the far west side. Beginning on his east side going west, we made sure when Bernie built the house that the driveway would be on the west side.
So the importance of the west side is simply that. What?
It would be quiet so I could manage this illness that I came down with.
I'm only going to ask this once. Have you ever been a licensed realtor?
No,
This is the neighborhood. So property on with the arrow is this guy's property. And then the property to the left of it with the pool and the koi. Oh, wait. with. Okay, it's not letting me do the marker right now. But the pool and the koi pond and everything, that's Wheels property. Salvador does not appreciate super chats. I absolutely appreciate the super chat, and thank you very much, David. You've been very generous. It's not like a lawyer. These were huge lots. Oh yeah, like mansion level lots.
No, sir.
Have you ever been studied to be an attorney?
That would be my last profession, sir. I'm making this joke.
Right?
No, sir.
Yeah, Irish.
Have you ever studied for any profession other than dentistry?
The oldest profession?
Did you have any involvement in actually writing this document?
The short answer is no. The longer answer was, Mike Reed, here's what I want, quiet. I don't want to have a garage or a driveway there because I've got you. End of discussion. And then
You're
he
going to
said
give
this
a
was his
long
job.
answer. You don't need to give a short answer, too.
Did you learn at some point that Bernie Carlman was engaged in criminal activity?
I did. Like I say, I sold this to Bernie January of 2007. I probably waved to him in 2007. Did not see him again. And I heard through some neighbors that they were getting a letter or something for Bernie. I said, what's going on? Because apparently it was something to do with mortgage or fraud or real estate fraud or something. And a bunch of them were telling me all about that because a lot of the houses were built by him. So that's what I heard roughly. Yeah, I'm not supposed to guess, but I'm guessing it's 2010, thereabouts.
Do you recall ever appearing in court for those criminal proceedings?
I clearly know I was not. I clearly think that no, I didn't have a thing to do with that.
Were you ever called as a witness
No,
in that case?
never.
Were you ever interviewed by the police?
No,
Were you ever interviewed by the FBI?
no.
So let's talk about Tim Hopkins. We're in 2007. When did Tim Hopkins move in?
I believe it was December of 2007.
Okay. Were you social with Mr. Hopkins when he moved in?
I'll answer that this way. Every neighbor, we will stop by, introduce ourselves, and say, if you have any questions in the neighborhood, if you want to know what day is garbage day or something like that, feel free to come by and knock anytime. We just want to be neighborly. And we did that with Denise Hopkins and Tim. And we brought over Cervati's. It's a bakery around here, a breakfast roll. And Diane introduced herself. I introduced myself. We shook hands. And that was the first time I met him. And then there were 2 occasions we went to dinner together. And
Aw.
then
When were those? Just so we keep the timeline straight.
And we swapped
either
wives.
2008 or 2009.
Okay.
Then in 2008, the one I know, my 3rd child, Michelle, graduated from high school that year. And we had a graduation party. So we invited all the neighbors and family friends, and we invited the Hopkins. They were next door neighbors. And Tim came over. I said, let me introduce you to some neighbors. And we always had, in my mind, unlike what he testified, a cordial neighborly relationship, not close. But like so many of us are with our neighbors, we were friendly to each other.
Let me ask you a more specific, before we move on from this time period, let me ask you a more specific question. Did you talk with Tim Hopkins before he bought his house?
Oh, no, I didn't know him until he moved in.
Did you specifically tell him about any restrictive covenants contained in his deed?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
When Bernie Carlman built the house, did you believe that it was compliant with the restrictions that you had put in the deed?
Yes.
Do you know that, has Tim Hopkins modified that property over the years?
Yes.
What kind of projects has he done?
Well, like I say, we're neighborly. I go over to his backyard on rare occasion. He was in my yard when I was having a drainage problem early on, and I asked him. But when he was doing something like that, like a pool, an outdoor kitchen, or like a fish pond, I think he calls it a koi pond, and I was out there taking the dog out, I'd see
Know
him
what you call
walk
it.
over. Tim, how you doing? Fine. I say, I really like what you're doing here. And I told him, thank you for keeping up such a lovely house.
To the best of your ability, I'm going to go through those individually. Okay?
Yes.
Do you remember when he put in the pool?
To the best of your ability, which means I don't think
I
you can do
remember
it.
there was digging of the pool, but to answer your question, not in great detail. I just have a memory of him doing some construction there.
Okay. Do you recall when he put in the kitchen, the outdoor kitchen?
No, I do not.
Do you recall when he put in the koi pond?
Again, like the pool, I knew something was going on. I like to mind my own business. So no, to answer your question, not a great memory of that.
Why didn't you object to those projects?
Very simple. Those were not next to my bedroom window.
Did you believe that they were within the restrictive covenants as far as they ran?
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about this relationship that you had with Tim Hopkins. And I want to know a couple of specific dates. Do you recall if you ever told Mr. Hopkins that you suffered from sarcoid disorder?
100%. I remember this like yesterday when he was at the house.
When doesn't
in
he tell people
2008
that?
at my daughter's graduation, he was sitting in the big overstuffed chair and had a light beer. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I said, yeah, Tim, what do you do? And he mentioned he's in the pharmaceutical business. And I said, wish I was. I have all these meds for sarcoidosis. I told him about it. And he actually, when we were at dinner, asked me about my health. There was no doubt in my mind he knew because he even asked me questions.
And you just said, when was that?
2008.
All right.
And if
Talk a
I
little
could be
bit-
specific, it was probably May or June.
Oh my
because It was
God.
my daughter's graduation party.
Talk to me about it, and we'll talk all the way up until the driveway project started.
Sure.
What kind of neighbor was Tim Hopkins throughout that period?
Like I say, he kept to himself and it was an arm's length. I saw him at Brian and Teresa's house one night when they had a party for the immediate neighbors. He seemed friendly enough. We'd say hi. When he went out for a walk on the golf course, which he often did, I'd stop and talk to him and about the kids or how are things going. And he kept telling me he had an infection in his knee and was on antibiotics. Then at the bus stop,
Well, let's not get into too many specifics.
okay, yes, so I would see him in the neighborhood and say hi.
Wow.
Let me ask you a couple.
You can't
a couple
answer
of
it
specifics
quickly.
Here. Had you ever heard loud or vulgar music coming from Mr. Hopkins'
Uh-oh.
backyard?
I don't like that black
the day
music.
after, no, until the evening of May 8th. I did not know there was music like that. And I like all kinds of
No.
music, but oh my gosh. And the volume and the words that came out of that would make your hair curl.
We've seen pictures of spotlights, or at least one picture of spotlights so far. When did
They were
those get
talking
put up?
about a wet ass pussy.
All right. I never noticed a spotlight from 2007 when he moved in until shortly after May 8th of 2020. I never noticed a spotlight. I never noticed a light on the gutter that was directed at a bedroom window or it's hard to explain. If I'm looking at the side of my house, if you would take a look at that table, the bedroom, the primary bedroom would be where my wife Diane is. Where Mr. McMurtry is sitting there's a window on both, is where we watch television. It's a little further back. And at first it was right in the bedroom. Later there was another one that was on a tall post toward the middle of his yard that was just an intense beam right into our television room. That was late May, early June of 2020, and it kept up. He added a third.
When did he add a third?
You asked me not to guess. Let's just say between the second one, which was late June or something,
Of
and
what?
fall
Of
of
what year?
2020, sir.
2020. We'll get to that here in a moment. Okay.
Yes.
I want to ask you a couple more questions about this pre-driveway project period. We've heard some testimony about alcohol use, and I would just like to ask you outright, prior to May 8th of 2020, how many drinks a week did you have?
Okay. Probably 2 nights a week,
You're not my sponsor.
up to 2 drinks a night, sometimes 1. I like wine. Okay, I like wine. So
Really?
I would have either 1 glass one night, and then either one or two another night maximum. And there were many weeks there was no alcohol.
Okay. Was even that level of consumption concerning to you for some reason?
Okay, that's a very good question. And you asked me before the
Oh,
driveway.
thank
in
you.
2020 or just in
You're
general?
paying him per hour,
I'm asking
dude.
right now from before the driveway.
Yes.
Dr. Goebel,
Yes.
if you would please, instead of commenting on the questions, just answer the question.
Okay.
I understand you're just trying to be helpful, but please do that.
But you're not
Your Honor,
helpful.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Go ahead.
My drinking, it's very simple. My primary care physician, Dr. James Lang. I went in to see him with anxiety from when this whole mess started in May 8th. And he says, oh boy, we've got your sarcoidosis under control. Anxiety could reactivate it. And yours being cardiac sarcoidosis, it can be fatal. We've got to get a handle on it. He says, I'm going to
Promise?
give you three things to do. Number one, I want you to learn to meditate. Number two, I want you to see a psychiatrist to help lower anxiety. And number three, you and I are going to
In
figure
a
out
years-long
right now what
pissing
you
battle
like
with
to
your
do
neighbor.
to chill. We went through everything, reading, watching old movies, listening to soft music. I like to drink wine on occasion. And he said, stop. I'm going to combine two as my recommendation. Why don't you just listen to soft music? You can have 2 glasses 2 to 3 times a week.
No.
And I'll
Why
never forget what he said.
music?
He says, the harm that small amount of alcohol will do to you is far, far less than the harm of the anxiety that Tim Hopkins is causing you. And he later wrote in the progress notes. And
Don't-
go ahead, I'll stop.
Those
I'm
aren't.
sorry.
in
So
evidence.
to answer your question, it was, according to Dr. Lang, 2 glasses max. And I could
Answer
have
the
it
question,
shoot
that'd be a
for
first.
2 to 3 times a week was his word. Shoot for 2 to 3 times a week. Now, when you ask me, am I concerned about it? I go to Dr. Chung, another doctor. And I told him, Dr. Lang wants me to lower anxiety. He says, well, I recommend you don't have any, but that amount probably won't hurt. He's been seeing me as a patient for, at that point, 17 years. It's over 20 now. And he says, I'm not really concerned with that small amount of alcohol. And I stick to it. And there's many weeks, Mr. Grody, that I do not drink at all. But if I do, it'll be 2 glasses a night, stop. And I may do it 2 to 3 times a week. Now, I changed the bar on that. I raised the bar. I shot for 2 nights a week instead of 2 to 3. And when I started seeing Dr. Thomas, who Dr. Lang recommended, if I drank more than 2 nights a week, I would tell Dr. Thomas that I'm starting to drink a little too much. It's still within the confines of Dr. Lang's recommendation. But if I drank a 3rd night, I would tell Dr. Thomas that. And that's what's in his progress notes when it says he's been drinking again. And somehow, if you believe when Dr. Thomas was deposed,
We're not going to get into that. I have one follow-up question about
Sure.
alcohol, and we'll move on. We heard that your wife drank a bottle of wine a night. Do you have any idea where that came from?
I'd love to answer that question. What would I like to answer?
Then answer it. Stop
Dr.
saying you want to
Thomas,
answer it.
Again, as the admonition of the parenthetical comments. If
Okay,
you could answer the question.
All the primary witnesses in this case, or at least 2, have some idiosyncrasies. I reminded him or asked him not to comment on the question, but I understand it's their personality.
It's his
So I'll do
personality. He's a
ask him to do his
douchebag.
best to not comment on the question. Okay, go ahead, sir.
So
Thank you, Judge.
and I'll restate the question.
Okay.
It was, we heard that your wife drank a bottle of wine a night. Do you know where that comment comes from?
Yes,
Where does it come from?
Hella. Oh, I mean, they're drinking. Yeah.
Dr. Thomas would have a laptop, would be talking to me when I was answering, and he was talking. He would type what he called progress notes, and he made it very clear, those aren't my medical records.
So
They're
this is-
progress notes.
this-
So
Chuck-
in the progress notes.
Chuck, I'm asking you a
No.
specific question.
That's what I'm trying to answer. So
I understand.
Oh
The
my
question specifically
God,
was,
sir.
Where did that statement come from?
in the progress notes I was trying to describe. So, and what happened was I said to Dr.
Hella.
Thomas, when Mr. Hopkins had all this ongoing lawsuits and the stress was high, I made this comment, and there's so many times when he does progress notes, a couple words are on it, but what I told him was almost exactly this. He asked about sarcoid. He asked about the body aches. He asked about other things. And when it came to alcohol, I said, oh, I'm doing the Dr. Lang method. 2 drinks, shooting for 2 to 3 times, and I'm keeping it to 2. But this weekend, Diane split a bottle, and we'll probably do it every night this weekend. Now, from that comment, what was jotted down in the progress notes was Diane drinks a bottle of wine every night or each night or whatever, which is not accurate. He also said Grossman's chasing me in a wheelchair. I mean, there's all sorts
Didn't
of.
have, that's a full and complete answer.
Yeah,
We're going to move on.
but it's not accurate.
All right, while we're still, my last question about this period before the driveway project is an uncomfortable one. I'm sorry I have to ask it. Tell me about your relationship with your wife for that period.
Okay. As you know, my heart got damaged with the cardiac sarcoidosis.
Metaphorically and
The muscle
physically.
scarred. We have that in our image from the Mayo. But worse, the electrical system, that's what makes the heart beat. Ba-boom, ba-boom. It's totally scarred. So that's why I'm a pacemaker. Now, why am I telling you this? Because in order to make it, the ejection.
Why are you
fraction
telling
go,
us
you have
this?
to take certain meds. Those meds have a side effect. And the more meds they give me for the heart to work better, the side effect, let's just say it makes a man unable to perform like when he was 20 years old. Before.
Ah!
So,
What?
Jason.
Wow. Okay, sir. Well, first of all, you just blamed the medication for your soft cock. Not the defendant. So I don't understand why you're suing the defendant for your floppy problems when it's the medication you just said that's causing these issues.
when I was on the lower doses, it wasn't a concern. Twice a week was fine, even after the driveway project started. But in April of 2022,
I do wonder if he's gonna watch this.
I noticed, well, I started getting panic attacks and everything. It came to a screeching halt. And the actual physical part is pretty much gone. It's still
Aww.
better. It's improving, but it's not physical. It's more just holding each other.
It's holding its own.
Let's move into the driveway project. When did you first notice this driveway being built?
30 seconds.
Let's pour
All right.
one out for your limp dick.
Like I say, my bedroom
Pour one
right
out,
next
chat.
to the Hopkins east side. And I was awakened one morning. It happened to be May 7th, 2020. And there was dust flying, a couple gravel things were hitting the house or something. And I heard motors going up and down. So I look out the window, so what's going on there? There were some trees cut down. We had been out. Well, I hadn't noticed them.
And I didn't appreciate seeing those trees no longer erect.
But wonder what's going on. So I asked Diane, I said, look, what's going on? So I walked over there. And I didn't, as Mr. Hopkins testified, I didn't storm the property. I don't do that. I walked up, and as luck would have it, Tim was walking toward the property line and driveway there. So I said, hey, Tim, wave to him. Made eye contact with me. Does a quick about face. Now, mind you,
When was this?
May 7th of 2020, mind you, it was shut down. COVID had just started. So I had a mask on. And then I took that off and I waved to him, and Tim just did an about face.
So the question was simply, when did you
Wait, so your neighbor did not want to get close to you and talk to you May 7th of 2020? It must be some diabolical scheme.
first see the driveway
May
project?
7th.
May 7th. All right. I'm going to approach you with what's been previously marked as plaintiff's 24. So it's been entered today. And actually, I'm just going to publish this as previously entered as plaintiff's 24 for Diane Goebel. And delivered. All right. Right, do you know where this picture was taken?
Absolutely. That's from my security camera. And it's going toward the street, Maxwell. And it shows the front of Hopkins' house, his driveway, which he wasn't supposed to build, and a big vehicle.
All right. Who manages the home security system on your home?
I do.
Is this a fair and accurate representation of the outside of your home?
It surely is, yes.
Let me ask you a couple of questions about the security system before we see any more videos about it. Have you modified that system in any way?
And sir, from what date?
Have you made any individual modifications to that security system ever?
We added a camera after Mr. Hopkins started backfiring and throwing dog poop, da-da-da-da. And we added one additional camera.
Where was that?
Okay, if you're looking at the street, I had two in the front, but I didn't have one to cover
One in the
that part of
back.
the yard, the east, the west part of my yard in the front.
Sure, I don't want to know where you
Just
had
cut
it.
off by the mailbox. So there's one part that wasn't covered, so I added a camera. Other than that, there's been no modifications.
Okay. These timestamps that we've seen on these videos, have you verified that those are accurate timestamps?
Yes, those are watermarks and cannot be changed.
Have you added those to these videos?
It's got a watermark.
A watermark. When we take a photo or a video, they're
So
part of it.
So I'm just specifically, without testifying to the electronics, that came off of the system, correct?
Yes, sir.
Could you explain to me just in this photo, where is your bedroom?
Okay, do you see the gravel? Do you see the big blue tree?
We had a
Next
laser
to the
pointer.
big blue pill.
Mike,
Oh,
need to get it?
aw.
And if you could point at this one so the jury can see.
Give her a second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, if you look at the gravel, this is, you can barely see a little dark thing. That's the bathroom window, and this is the bedroom window.
Okay. When you said earlier, construction project on May 7th, is this how the scene looked on May 7th? I see that it's May 21st on this watermark. How is this scene different from what you saw on May 7th?
Well, there's obviously a large vehicle in the driveway. There's the dumpster was there, I believe. No, I'm not, you know what? I don't want to guess. It looks somewhat similar with, I do see a difference. The driveway looks like it has more gravel on it at this point, much more gravel.
Okay. So after May 7th, when you saw this scene or something substantially similar, how did you strike that question? Did this project concern you in any way?
Okay, if your question was after May 7th, did this project concern me in any way? Yes.
Why?
Noise, quiet enjoyment.
Aw.
I worked so hard to get my health back, and I wanted to get my sleep, and I didn't want the stress of all this.
Okay. Did you come up with any ways to resolve the problem?
I tried dealing with Tim Hopkins, and it did not.
Tell me in order. What did you do first?
May 7th, I went by, hey, Tim, and he looks, doesn't about this. No communication.
my
May 8th. Well, May 7th, I said, how am I going to tell Tim? Maybe it was COVID. Maybe he was afraid not to see me. I've got to give him this deed. So I went and made a copy of the deed with the restrictive covenants, the exhibit you showed me. Okay. It had the restrictive covenants.
Maybe he's
on it.
afraid of
We couldn't do it.
COVID, so I'm going to go ahead
And
and
I
just
said-
photocopy some stuff and hand it to him directly.
I know police do something called a citizen assist. So I called the police, spoke with somebody. I don't know if it was a lieutenant, a chief, a captain. I spoke with a male police officer. They said, sure, we'll be happy to do a citizen assist. It'll be tomorrow. We'll call you. Is this a good number? Yes, we'll call you. And I think he said 15, 20 minutes before we get there. We had someone on patrol. So that's what I did next.
I need a
And then
police
did you actually go over to
officer
Mr.
go
Hopkins'
talk
house
to
on
a
the 8th?
neighbor.
Absolutely. By that day, May 8th now, it's the next day. Jordan Morris, who you saw testify earlier, he was doing some yard work and also some helping move something because it was shut down. We needed a refrigerator. But
Was
anyway,
trimming my bush.
moved from the garage so we could get close to it. So he was doing that kind of thing. And the policeman called me. Says, I'll be there in 20 minutes. And I said, Jordan, would you come with me? Well,
They
Diane
put
and
on
my daughter
Danger
Missy
Zone,
pretty
got
much
some
had cabin
intense
fever. So
music.
I said, we're going too. We want to get out of here. They got their mask on. phones, and we walked over, told the policeman, "I've got this deed." He goes, "It's okay." So I went up, rang the
Hey,
doorbell to show Mr. Hopkins the deed before any major expense started.
How did that interaction go?
Absolutely horrible. I was nothing but nice. I called Ryan, "Sir, can I speak to your dad?"
Well, tell me who answered the door?
Ryan answered the door and kicked me off his property.
Who's Ryan?
Ryan is Mr. Hopkins' son. I was
Ryan.
nothing but polite. So we got off the property. Said his dad wasn't home.
And
I was polite. I was just telling him what he can and
what
can't do
happened
with his
in
own
between
property.
Ryan asking you to leave and the video that we've already seen.
Oh, that just a few seconds. And here's what happened. I rang the doorbell.
No.
Ryan answered it. Yeah.
Oh, just a few seconds. Let me go ahead and
Ryan,
explain
how you
some
doing?
more
Is your
about something
dad
you haven't
home?
asked me
He's
yet.
not home. I got to show him something. Anyway, he goes, "Are you trying to film me?" That's exactly what he said. But just ask us very firmly to leave. So we walked off the property. That was it. I said, "Yes, sir." Walked off the property.
And that's when this video occurred.
Yeah, and may I add, we weren't off the property a minute, maybe not even a half minute, maybe a minute tops, and Tim Hopkins suddenly was there.
So
he was home
we're just
all along.
so that's the video that we've already seen, correct?
That's correct.
So that's plaintiff's 23. I'm going to pull that up, and I'm going to ask you some specific questions about that video. Okay.
Okay, yep.
Ask for permission to publish
Yes.
plaintiff's 23. Yes. So before we hit play, where are you in relation to this camera?
Jordan was standing, we all were in the street off Tim Hopkins' property. Jordan was standing on the corner of the driveway. And if you face the house, I would have been one over. The policeman was parked right there, but
Okay.
behind us.
And who's filming this?
I believe this film is Jordan Morris.
And if we could just play plaintiff's 23.
Hello, are you streaming today?
Bluetooth connected.
The deed was restrictive. Okay, and I want to be legally, I'm not threatening at all. I did not hear you, sir. I'll be off the property, I'm not, I just rang the doorbell. All
Hey,
I'm saying
do
is
you mind?
that above the design review,
Yeah?
there's something more powerful, and that's a restrictive covenant for a driveway on that side. I don't want. Yes, sir. All I'm saying is, Tim, I want to be neighbor. You've been a great neighbor. I'm just informing you before you go to the expense. That's all I'm asking, sir.
And my specific question for you here is, what does he say to you there as he turns back around?
You want me to repeat it in front of?
Yes,
my wife
please.
and the
Just,
jury?
just the question that was asked.
Aw.
What does he say to you when he turns around?
But their ears are
Go
not
fuck
garbage
yourself.
cans.
Thank you. We're done with this for now. Did this interaction change your relationship with Tim Hopkins?
Yes.
How?
I went
That,
home and effed myself.
for whatever reason, made Tim Hopkins start a campaign of terror, harassment, abuse, mental anguish, intimidation, threats, nonstop, because he got told no.
Please.
And
A wet
apparently,
fart could intimidate you, sir.
Dunfield rules apply to him, in my opinion.
So my question's more specific. Give me a couple of ways, or describe to me the specific ways in which your relationship with Tim Hopkins changed after this video.
Okay.
Look, if a neighbor came over to my property and was like, well, I want you to stop what you're doing because actually you're not allowed to do that. And, I'm just telling you this right now just to be nice so you don't spend any more money. And, sir, I'm just trying to be nice. I can only imagine how condescending he sounded.
Right after this video, Tim Hopkins started playing music with words that I will not repeat, excessively loud, started screaming at us. I didn't know what to do. So anyway, we were estranged until several days later.
What happened several days later?
I had to talk to him. I really believe in this world. If you have good communication, you can solve any problem. We've been married.
Except your dick
45 years,
issues.
And I think with good communication, you
What-
can do it. So I wanted communication. So I called a mutual friend of his, Richard Knott.
Okay. Why did you call Richard Knott?
Dick Nut.
Tim, in my opinion, didn't have
I have Dick Nut on speed dial.
a whole lot of neighbors that were friendly with him, and most of them avoided him. Richard Knott did not. And Richard was I call him Rich. If I call him from now on Rich, that's what I call him.
I'll call him Dick.
He would drop his kids off the bus stops. I had a relationship with him. He's been to the house, my birthday party. So I know Rich. We're not close, but we're friends.
We're
And
intimate.
he's, in my mind, best friend or close to it to Tim Hopkins. And I thought, Rich, he'll get this solved.
So what did you do at that point with Rich's help to try to get this resolved?
First, I wanted to open lines of communication because the next thing that happened, I got an email from Tim and it said, any form of communication I will take as an act of aggression. He shut down all lines of communication in that email.
Aw.
And that came right after all the noise and the music. I think it was the next day or the day after.
He shut down all lines of
Either
communication.
9th or 10th. Shut down all communication. So I call Rich and say, please, can you
He's
get us
acting like this
together?
is the Hamas-Israel
And Rich said,
conflict, and
I'll
he
get
can't
Timmy.
just
I'll take
even
care of it."
negotiate.
He's got a real friendly voice. So I met with Rich.
All right, did that resolve things?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
A day or so later, Rich finally got Tim. I said, could you please just get him to email me or call? Here's my cell phone. Text, call, email, any way he wants to communicate. Tim then
MySpace.
sent another nasty letter after that. Very bad, very threatening.
Took me out of his top 8.
Then
When was that? Just
I'm
time.
gonna be within a
time.
day, okay? I'll be
Mhm.
real close. May 8th, May 7th. Tim, how you doing? He turns to watch around May 8th, the doorbell rang. I think I spoke with Rich. May 9th, important. I sent him a certified letter of the deed.
My-
10th was Rich Knox. I'd say
Oh my God.
Hopkins sent a nasty letter. I called Rich again, and I think the 13th or 14th, pretty sure the 14th, Tim Hopkins sent me a letter, and you want to say letter, they were all email, other than my certified letter so we could get the deed. But I want to say May 14th, on or about a day, I got an email from Tim Hopkins saying something like, I'm sorry, I such and such, he's disabled, he, da, da, da. I said, oh, great, we can resolve this. Lines of communication are open now.
And you said that was on May 12th?
No, so I said it was probably the 14th is when I got
The 14th, okay.
It was the 12th, 13th, 14th. It's been 5 years he's dragged this on, so I don't know.
Okay. During this time that you're speaking with Rich or not,
Yes.
what's the status of this driveway project?
Oh, he didn't stop.
Okay. What progress was made on the project in that time period?
Could you remind me of the date of the image you?
I can't answer your questions.
Okay. All I know, it was before he poured concrete, which was after May 26th. So it was somewhere between the 14th and 26th. He kept doing construction, digging, more gravel. He just was progressing on it.
Okay. So what did you do? Why is the May 26th date? Probably
Feel the testosterone leaving my
I asked
body
my
listening to him.
On the advice of my attorney, we got a temporary restraining order so that before he poured concrete, and that's, I'm going to say it twice, before concrete was poured, we had a temporary restraining order.
All right. Did the temporary restraining order stop any of the harassment that you've described?
It only made it worse.
How did it make it worse?
Wow.
My God.
What a novel
We
idea.
can talk about it and relive it.
It just, Mr. Goebel,
Yes, sir.
how did it make it worse?
Everything he was doing before, he continued, but it intensified, and he started adding things. He called my wife a whore. He screamed, F you. You know what I mean? Didn't yell.
No, I don't know what
He
you mean,
screamed
sir.
At my daughter, at me, at Diane. My mother-in-law, when she was still alive, was over. And
Oh, that was actually kind of
outside.
funny.
It was my birthday. No, it was Memorial Day, around there. And he starts playing really vulgar music, real loud. And that generation, my mother-in-law was, let's just say, an upper lady. And that was stuff she would never hear, whatever. So we just ran back inside. But it was things
So
like
I
that.
kind of appreciated
throwing
that. She didn't
stuff
want to come back
on the lawn,
over for
just-
6 months.
I mean, he just had a full-out temper tantrum, a grown man to do this to another person, and it kept going on and on. The noise.
This
and
is
the one
direct,
he kept
Nick.
playing. Sounds of silence. And it
This is
wasn't
his.
false silence.
This is his own
It was the
client.
weirdest thing is sounds of silence. Sending me a message and then death. I'm gonna kill you. All this stuff. Death threats. Now he didn't say that. I'm saying the music. And then the vulgar language. It just kept going on and on. Then
Well, I'm going to stop you there and ask a few specific questions about what you just said. We've already seen some of these security cameras. Did you capture any of this abuse on video?
yes,
All right. Have you reviewed any of that prior to today?
I don't like reliving it, sir.
The question that I asked was, have you reviewed any of that footage prior to today?
When you say prior to the date, I haven't reviewed it for about a year.
Okay.
It's up here.
So
It is up here.
do you recall a specific time that Mr. Hopkins has screamed profanities at you or your family?
Oh, gosh. Nightmares about it.
All right. Is some of that captured on video?
Oh, yes. Plenty of it.
Your Honor, I'd ask for permission to just publish the first image of Plaintiff 65.
Okay.
I'm looking for it.
In the meantime, there's a boil water advisory for Lebanon. So don't step out in the hall
Uh-oh.
and drink out the fountain.
Suffolk, Ohio.
Well, when we're up.
I got it up.
Plaintiff 65. Do you recall this specific video?
Yes, you can have a freaking Altoid, you dweeb.
I would have to hear it.
That's fine. Well, let me ask you a separate set of questions first then. Where is this camera?
Okay, this is, you saw before that little rock pile, which was the bathroom window and the bedroom window, and then the big blue tree. You'd be standing there looking at the Hopkins, the property line, and then my backyard.
Okay. There's a timestamp here, 9/19 of 2020. Did you have the security system at that time?
Oh, yes.
Did you add timestamps to any of these videos?
Can't. No, sir, I did not.
All right. And is what's pictured here a fair and accurate depiction of Mr. Hopkins' backyard on that date?
Absolutely.
All right. And I'd ask for permission to play the video at this point.
Yes.
There he is.
Sounded like my dad.
So now I'll ask you, do you recognize this video?
I do. It was one of the milder ones. But what upsets me most about this, what you can't see in this picture,
Oh, God, shut up.
there's Hopkins. He walked right to the crooked fence and screamed right behind the house here. My daughter Mitzi, I think she was a teenager at the time.
He named
We have
his daughter
pumpkin patch.
Mitzi.
She was right there. He saw her and screamed that at my daughter.
Is that why you ended up recording this video?
Yes.
Okay. Is this the only time that these kinds of incidents happen?
Oh my gosh, no.
How often is Mr. Goebel screaming at Mr. Goebel? Mr. Hopkins screaming profanities at you, Mr. Goebel?
It's too many to count. Multiple times.
Okay.
And if, I can't record all of them, but the ones, we have so many more of these.
Let's talk about this this fence that's actually depicted here. Do you know when that fence was erected?
After the TRO was issued to stop construction,
Sir, I asked you not
And-
to say erect around me.
that would be the end of May, and it's probably before July. So I am going to say in that 6-week period from the last couple of days of May to the 1st of July.
Oh, I'm
And
so
at some
immature.
point, Well, did this fence remain in this state?
He put it in and then he had the guys make it crooked. And if you look, I have that on video too someplace, but if you look right here,
He had his
instead of
guys
that
put
being
his
straight
erect fence
like
in.
this is, he made it go in and out like that. This is not a real good picture, but I think you can kind of see how it's in there, out there, and all the weeds and everything, and just
Well,
what happens
more
next.
specifically, we don't see anything along the fence there.
Holy
At some point, you did set
projection.
things along the fence, correct?
Did he ever?
And there's previously entered plaintiff 53. Is that a fair and accurate representation of your yard?
And again, that's mine. Yes, it's fair and.
All right, well, I'm going to ask for permission to publish it to the jury.
Yes.
This is previously entered 53. So not any further than that, I guess. All right. Could you tell me how all of these things ended up stacked against Mr. Hopkins' fence? Do you recall?
Mr. Hopkins had his son and 3 of his son's friends, I believe, empty the dumpster we saw in one of the previous films. Empty everything and put it there. He then went to the neighbor on the other side. He was throwing things away, took all his garbage and just laid it out. This
Sounds
really
like
isn't
something
a-
my dad would do.
It gets so much worse beyond if you move to the right there.
Oh, what an
Lawnmower,
how
old
threatening.
rusty things,
He
everything.
put trash
right
on
the
his own property.
Right on the property line. He left the junkyard, just a junk pile.
How long did the property remain in this state?
Until a couple months before he moved out.
Did it remain this way until the settlement agreement?
Oh, yeah,
Did it remain this way after the settlement agreement?
absolutely.
Mr. Hopkins testified that you sued him. Is this a part of the enforcement of the settlement agreement?
Yes, he had to clean up his yard and restore it to what it was before he started the project.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about the spotlights. You had described a couple of spotlights that were aimed at your house, and could you tell me what indicated to you that they had been placed there intentionally?
Pretty simple. I'm not supposed to. Yes, I can. The fact they were never, ever there until after the TRO. The fact they were never there until May of 2020. And now suddenly they were. And then in June, a second one came in, much more intense, and yet another third one on some high post coming down at a different angle.
Do you recall at some point going and taking a video of that
Sure
scene?
do. I do.
All right. Did you review that video at some point in preparation for trial today?
At some point, when I have PTSD of this. This is.
Of course
ruined
you
my
do.
life.
I'm going to ask you not to editorialize. Did you
What I'm
review?
saying is I didn't review.
I don't
any
care
of them
about your
before
PTSD,
trial. The
sir.
last time I looked at
You're
them
my
was
client.
If we could pull up just the first image of plaintiff's video 25 to 26.
Okay, that's 23.
26. Plaintiff's 26.
Okay,
Do you recall this video?
I do.
Who took this video?
I did.
Do you recall when you took this video?
It was May of, no, I did not.
Okay.
I can get close.
How did you take this video?
That was my iPhone. It was taken May or June of 2020.
Right. The last time you reviewed this video, was it in the same condition as you recalled from recording it?
Could you possibly play just the first 10 seconds?
But just the last time that I will, but the last time that you reviewed it, was it in the same
Oh,
condition?
yes, 100%.
I'd ask permission to publish to the jury.
His
Yes.
lawyer hates him so much.
Okay. It's Sunday, the 18th, and he's at it again with this light. So I'll go to our bedroom. And there is the light directed right into our bedroom.
And I'm going to ask you to
do such a thing. You're off of volume 2.
Just pause it.
now. Do you recall this video?
Yes,
All right. Is this in the same condition as when you took this video?
exact same.
Can I ask you why you felt compelled to make this video?
Because I'm a dweeb.
If this could be resolved and we could return to an amicable relationship, which was my goal, we might need to have some sort of court to show this of what he's doing and to get him to stop. If he denies it, which Tim Hopkins will deny anything, in my opinion, here's evidence.
All right. We're not going to replay the dog poop videos that we've already seen. The dog poop videos that we have seen, where were those recorded?
Every dog poop video, and there's more than the ones you played, were from the security system.
Okay.
They're all timestamped.
Why did you start recording the dog poop videos?
I didn't specifically record any one thing, Counselor. I just started recording these egregious, outrageous acts.
Outrageous, egregious,
Well, let me ask differently.
outlandish.
When you go to your security system,
Fan of Seinfeld?
how do you retrieve videos from your security system?
All right, so if you picture a computer and you have a monitor, you also have it used to be called a CPU, but there's something called an NVR. N is in Nancy, VR. And then
Oh,
the
thank
monitor.
God he said
So
Nancy.
what you do is you turn on the NVR, that produces a watermark.
That could have gone bad.
And cannot be altered, cannot be altered. Then you just put a monitor on it, any computer monitor. And what you do is you find the footage, you then use your mouse, get the right camera and the right time you want, download it, save it in a file, and put it on a flash drive
I've
directly.
never
off
seen
the
somebody
NVR.
use so
Okay,
many words
so with
to
that
describe
background,
nothing.
Yes, sir.
Why did you go into the NVR and collect these videos? What prompted you to do that?
I wanted him to stop, and I wanted him to stop. He kept it up and kept it up and kept it up. I figured I could go to a court of law and say, look at what this
To a
man's
court of
doing.
law.
You won't believe it unless you see it.
Your Honor, if I may ask one leading question to speed this along.
You can ask it.
Was it because you kept finding dog poop in your yard? Is that why you pulled the dog poop videos?
That was one of many reasons. It wasn't just the dog poop. It was the screaming. It was the backfiring. It was the vulgar
God.
music. It was waking up. You didn't even go over how he played noise at
I want to
6
throw a
to 7
turd in this
a.m.
guy's yard so bad right now.
Of jackhammers, of gunshots, of brakes screeching. How would you like to be sleeping? And
No, we're not gonna.
you're in a crash.
We're not gonna get into how would you like. We're answering questions here. Tell
Yeah,
me,
yeah. Let's not violate the
when
golden rule.
the sounds
Sir.
of gunshots and brakes. Tell me when that started.
Late June. of
Can't
2020.
argue that in court,
Okay.
buddy.
How long did that continue for?
Days.
All right. Describe for me when you say sounds. What were they?
It was, in my opinion, it was on a loop. I'm sure it was because they kept cycling the same noise. I would be sleeping and it would start off with a rooster crowing at dawn or something, just once or twice. All of a sudden, there would be a sound of brakes coming. You could just the screech of brakes and then a violent crash. And then you wake up, then there'd be gunshots. Then all of a sudden, the noise of a jackhammer, then barking dogs. How could, anyway, yeah, right by the bedroom from his, I'm sure it was from his outdoor speakers directed in there. It's my opinion.
All right. You had mentioned earlier you were in email correspondence with Mr. Hopkins. What was the tone of that email correspondence during this driveway project?
Pardon, I thought you were done talking, didn't you? Interrupt, sir. What was the tone of the email? First, several from Mr. Hopkins were extremely threatening. After Rich and I opened lines of communication so we could maybe work something out on the noise and quiet, he was not threatened. It was, thank you, I believe the first line was, thank you for working with me on my garage project. Great. So I told him I had to have quiet. It's all about quiet. And this is exactly what I don't want, is to have noise there and cars going up and down. And I tried to work something out with him, but Tim, unless he got to do everything his way, simply would not even discuss an agreement. Well, he would discuss it, but he wouldn't come to an agreement. And nothing came close to an agreement, never. And by the way, both of us had to sign it. Diane wasn't even involved.
So the question was simply the tone of the
I'm
emails
sorry.
in this time period.
So
And
initially,
you've answered it.
all right.
Many times, sir.
So let me ask about your relationship with the other neighbors in the neighborhood during this project. Was that impacted in any way by this interaction?
Greatly.
How?
Well, okay, this is shutdown, people. This is May and June of
God,
24.
sir.
And people would go out for walks. They could finally take a mask off sometimes during a walk. And
Oh, no.
neighbors I had known for years in many cases.
Didn't want to talk to me during
would confide
COVID.
in me and
It was the defendant's fault.
that's like Hopkins did on May 7th. What's going on? And then I later found out he passed a letter out to the neighbors accusing us of extortion and not letting them even paint his house unless I gave an approval, which are all lies.
John, I can't hear that.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Rice. It's my
Do you
voice.
really
I'll
want to?
move up. I apologize, sir.
Oh, no problem.
Okay, continue.
A little less
The neighbors,
condescension,
the
sir.
relationship. What I said, Mr. Rice, was that I couldn't even walk down the street. Neighbors I'd known for years saw me and walked away, and some came up to me and said, "How could you do that to another neighbor?" Most neighbors didn't even communicate. It was very, very difficult.
And is that a different relationship than you had with your neighbors prior to May 8th?
180, sir.
And is that, I
Man.
just need to ask, did you observe that change in April of 2020 when COVID started spreading?
No, not at all.
When did you first start seeing that change in your neighbors' behavior?
It was several weeks after May 8th of 2020. It didn't happen the day after, but less than a month after. I'm going to say a month after, give or take 2 weeks. Boom.
Okay.
Boom.
Let's move on to the legal portion of the dispute for the driveway project.
Oh, let's.
Did you end up going to court over that temporary restraining order?
Yes, sir.
We've already seen at this point a couple of different times this interaction on October 1st of 2020. And we'll get to that in a moment, but I want you to explain to the jury what happened immediately before that video that we saw.
Before the death threat on October 1st.
Yes.
Okay, yes. We were with Magistrate Hasselbach, Andrew
Hasselhoff?
just down the hall. We were presenting, this was a sanctions hearing because he, okay,
Don't-
all right, I'll
just
get on.
tell
So
me-
what happened immediately before? We were presenting some of the footage that we had.
Yeah,
and
you don't get to say it
my
was a
attorney asked
sanctions
Mr.
hearing.
Hopkins, have you ever screamed at the Goebels? And under oath, no,
And
never, no. Have you ever said profanities to the Goebels? No. And I won't say under oath again because the entire time, obviously, he's under oath, but no. We then played an exhibit. It was, fuck you. And he goes, I was yelling at the dogs. Okay. And then I wasn't yelling at Chuck. So the next one we played was, go fuck yourself, Chuck. He laughed. He laughed.
I mean, can you blame the guy?
Then we weren't done. We played yet another one. And Mr. Hopkins says, oh, I was yelling at my son. And Magistrate Hasselbach leaned forward. I'm glad I didn't get this look. And, sir,
Oh
do you
my-
always talk to your son and curse at your son, I believe he said. I'll get it real close if I don't get it exact. Do you always curse at your son that way? Immediately, his attorney, Melanie Walls, said, I need a break, Your Honor. Now, here's what happened next. Okay. Magistrate Hasselbach left. Okay. Hopkins, instead of going the way he always went, does a real circuitous route, gets his wheelchair, comes over where we are, and attempts to run over my feet with that heavy metal wheelchair. He got the tip of the toe, but he didn't get my feet. I went up like this. And he goes
I
out
was
in the hallway.
bent,
and
but
he's
I was
bright red.
not unbowed.
Magistrate Hasselbach was visibly upset. So this was after 3:30 and before 3:45.
How far before the video that we saw earlier?
The video is at 3:43.
Okay, but in time, what you've described, how close in time?
Minutes.
minutes. All right. If we could pull up plaintiff 51. You've watched this video now 2 or 3 times. And we're going to watch it first together. Do you recognize the people in this still image?
I do not recognize the gentleman on the left. I recognize Miss Dingler on the right.
Miss Dingleberry?
And if we could press play. And if we could press pause.
Lordy.
Just very briefly, do you recognize the person in white?
That is Rich Knott.
Do you recognize the person in the blue?
That is Mr. Hopkins.
All right, we could play.
Dick Knott.
And if we could pause,
That is me.
the person who just walked into the frame.
Yep.
All right, we could play. And we're going to pause one more time. This person on the left, do you now know who that is?
When you say person on the left, are you speaking
This
of
person
the
who just
officer?
walked in the frame right here.
Yes, that is deputy at the time. He's now Lieutenant Sean Embleton.
Okay, if you could back up about 5 seconds and then play the rest of the video. Thank you. All right, and we can pause there.
I know, Tracy.
Dr. Goebel, tell me about this interaction. What is being said in this video?
It happened in 2 phases.
Oh my
You have
God.
to remember, we had just been through a
Bluetooth connected.
court proceeding where Hopkins ran over me. So I'm walking to the hallway.
He
I
ran over
really wanted to
you.
have a restroom break.
I asked a different question.
I'm sorry, sir. Ask it again, please.
Explain to me what is being said in this video.
I'll answer the question. I apologize. All right. It
Could
happened in
you?
2 phases.
Can you?
When I turned the corner, Hopkins saw me. Rich Knott and Dengler were close.
That name
Hopkins
makes me
immediately
giggle
went up
every
and in
time.
this guttural, threatening voice, if you get to the table, run away from me, I'll kill you, I'll kill you. That quick.
Okay, just the actual words without the voice first.
If you,
Without
I'm sorry
the
for going fast, but
histrionics,
that's how
sir.
quickly he spoke, and that's how he spoke in this level.
Dr. Goebel,
If you get them to take Ryan away from me, I'll kill you, I'll kill you.
Yes, Jim.
Okay.
This is his own lawyer questioning him.
you can explain the tone and explain the phases, but he said,
You will.
if you get them to take Ryan away from me, I'll kill you, correct?
That's correct.
All right, now tell me, how loud did he say it?
Oh, it was, I call it a guttural whisper.
Okay,
It was
A
soft.
guttural whisper.
okay. Was it soft the entire time?
No, there was a pause. I
Yes.
said it happened in
Yes,
2
it
phases.
was.
Right, What did
Yes.
you mean by that?
Oh, when he was wheeling and Knott and Dengler were behind him. And you got to remember, their heads are here. Someone in a wheelchair, unfortunately, is lower. And he's wheeling up. So I bent over so I could hear him. And it was in that soft voice. Then by the time he got to me, he put his fingers in my face.
And said,
And he
pull
says,
it.
if you've done this, in a much louder voice.
Okay, what did you do after he said that?
You scared
I
me.
was in shock.
I
was in
wet
shock,
myself.
And I threw my hands up. He
I
threatened my
just
life.
don't care.
And saying, I'm going to take his son away from
I
him.
asked you what you did,
I raised my hands up in disbelief.
and then what?
Shriek
Well,
like
at
a
that time,
girl.
Rich Knott, okay, I'm answering your question, I swear.
Yeah, it's fine.
So
Daniel?
if you've done that, what happened was Dengler grabbed his neck, turned his head to get him from finishing that sentence. If you've done that or whatever, and Knott and Dengler both pushed his chair away. And then I raised my hands up, but Knott stayed back. Rich Knott stayed back.
And where did you go from there? Where is this? Let me ask that differently. You all turned down this hallway here, correct?
Yeah, I'll show you. Hopkins was here. I was coming from the courtroom right about here.
I asked you a
I thought
different
this guy
question.
couldn't
Where did
come.
you? That's okay. Where did you go
We went, that's your question. I went back down the hallway toward Magistrate Hasselbach's courtroom.
Okay, that's what's down that way?
Yes, sir, on the right side.
Okay, and you went with Rich Knott, correct?
That's correct.
Are you aware if that was captured from any other angles?
It sure was.
All right, if we could pull up plaintiff's 52. Have you reviewed those other angles of the death threat?
Yes, yes.
Okay, is this one of those?
Touchdown. On paper?
Yes, that's one of the angles of the death threat.
Okay. Permission to publish, Your Honor?
Yes.
Jim, I think he shares his massage therapist with his lawyer. Touchdown deed paper unerected.
Bluetooth connected.
All right, we can pause it there.
Your Honor, did we see it twice? I'm just confused.
I think this is a different angle of the same video we'd seen earlier.
Oh, right,
I know
right,
it's
okay.
cumulative, but look at him.
So there's a few obvious questions about this.
Why are you
If
gay?
you threatened your life, why didn't you run away?
Rich Knott was there. Deputy sheriffs are everywhere. I was in such shock. I couldn't believe I got my life threatened. Dengler moved his head. Rich pushed him away. And I guess I was numb. I just had my life threatened. And then he was down the hallway.
Wow,
So-
sir.
I froze. But I saw he was down the hallway and Rich was there. I was more fearful of him killing me, not in a courthouse, but elsewhere.
So let me ask a more specific question. Was your hearing with Magistrate Hasselbach over?
No, sir. His attorney needed a break. And so there was not much time left. It wasn't-
Dealing with me.
You know when you had been ordered to be back in court?
Yes, and I didn't have time to go to the bathroom, so I had to go back.
Okay.
Sir, we know you went to the bathroom.
Did Rich not say anything to you?
Absolutely.
What did he say to you in this portion of the video?
Nothing. I did the talking at first.
What did you say?
I said, he just threatened to kill me. He threatened my life. Rich just looked at the ground.
So he says nothing in this video.
He said nothing immediately afterwards.
And that's my question.
Then he said stuff.
Once you got back to the courtroom after this, what did you do?
There's a third video that shows me talking to Rich the whole way down.
I understand. For after this, what did you do?
Let me do my job, sir.
I walked in carefully and I looked. Hopkins was in his spot. So I sat down and I had a word with my attorney,
Who was?
Tom Grossman,
Okay.
at that time.
And then what did you do?
Well, I debated on telling Magistrate Hasselbach. He had already admonished us and said, if you want a CPO, go down the hall to Page Crossley tape. Earlier in this proceeding, he goes, I don't want to hear another word of it. So I didn't tell him. I immediately went to the first deputy I saw, which was at the metal detector, and told him what happened. I just had my life threatened by Tim Hopkins. And I want a protective order, and I want, someone's got to know. He goes, well, here, there's an application right there for a protective order. So That was within a few minutes after Magistrate Hasselbach dismissed us.
On this same date?
October 1st.
Okay. Did you ever have a hearing on that? Sorry, back up. Did you file that petition for a protective order?
Absolutely.
All right. When did you file that?
The courthouse was closed that day, and I worked on it, and it was a Thursday. October 1st was a Thursday. So I either filed it Friday, which I'm almost certain I did, or Monday.
Of course you did.
One of those 2 days.
Did
You were there at
ultimately have
9
a hearing
a.m.,
on
weren't
that
you?
petition?
That Tuesday.
And you can take us down. Thank you.
That was October 6th.
All right.
It was a Tuesday.
Did you have this video for that October 6th hearing?
Absolutely not. I didn't know. I had no idea there were cameras.
When did you find out there were cameras?
On October 6th,
Yeah, wow. The
There were
guys
two
at the
other
metal detector just love
ladies
people
that
like
were-
him.
getting a civil protection order, and they told me wait outside the door while these ladies were in front.
The last thing they
I'm
want is to
standing
get
right
a
outside
subpoena.
Magistrate Paige Crossley Tate's courtroom. And it soon I got the chills. I go, this is exactly where Hopkins threatened my life. Went like that. I looked up. There's a camera right above me. There's another camera. Then they called me in. So one of my questions to her when I talked to her meeting magistrate Paige Crossley Tate was, those cameras, do they work? She goes, I don't know. Go to this service thing. So I went there and found out, yes, they work. Told them the date and the times.
Stop it.
See if I can find
Get some help.
email. But that's when I finally got the footage. And I believe I got the footage on October 9th.
Okay. Did the footage
Hello.
contain audio?
Never,
Have you ever
How are
seen
you?
any of this footage with audio?
never.
I'm enjoying this.
Right?
Yep.
Very, very, very insufferable.
I just have one thing to say.
Oh, what a soft cock.
I was looking for my act like a man clip. What's the matter with you? But I couldn't find it here.
Oh,
yeah,
what
we're
a
not-
soft cock.
We're not going to finish this all today. We will tomorrow. And
How many oh sorry, how long does it go for? Because I can put my stream off till tomorrow.
let me keep playing it for now.
Let
Do
me
you
know.
need to know now?
Yeah, work it out and we'll talk about it.
Okay, let me see.
Looking bangable. Oh, I love you.
So you, not to belabor the point any further, you did not remove the audio from this video,
Of course
correct?
not.
Okay. Did you ever have
No.
a full hearing on your civil protective order?
The operative word being full. No, we had a hearing. Okay, I had a ex parte hearing October 6th with Paige Crossley Tate, Magistrate Paige Crossley Tate. And she somehow a more formal hearing was scheduled November 18th, 2020. And we went to that, but it was not full. Does that answer your questions? It was not full.
A little bit. Could you explain why it wasn't a full hearing?
Okay. We wanted it to be a full, but magistrate said right away, I have to take my dogs outside. I don't have a dog sitter. This is wrapping up at 4:30 sharp. And we weren't done.
Okay, so you weren't done by 4:30. Was there a date set for the remainder of that hearing? When was that?
Pardon me, I didn't mean to. I thought you were.
It's okay.
Okay. Yes, there was a date and November 18th. It got postponed. The date was sometime just before Christmas, but it got rescheduled from the Hopkins postponed it, or his attorney, and it got rescheduled for, I remember Groundhog's Day. It was February 2nd of 2021. We were going to finish that civil stalking protective order hearing.
Did you ever end up finishing that?
We did not.
Why not?
All right. So the October 1st hearing,
Well, before we go back that way, just let me, I think I asked the question poorly. Let me re-ask. Did the case ever get resolved by the judge?
yes, both cases were resolved with
By-
a follow-up. No,
I can't speak over you. I'm sorry. Finish your answer.
Counselor, I'm unclear on the question. Could you please repeat?
Sure. Did you ever get a ruling from the judge on your civil protective order?
I did,
From the judge?
from magistrate.
Okay. I'm still asking the question poorly.
No, you're not.
When I said yes,
You're really
You
not,
could
sir.
explain that answer, please.
yes, the ruling simply was that.
It's hard to imagine
both
I hate
cases
somebody
got
more than
settled in a
this
settlement
lawyer.
agreement, which included settling, there was only 2 cases. There was still
Lawyer
the
seems
driveway
fine now.
dispute, and then there was the death threat that he did. And he did in the civil stalking protective order. And when we settled everything, January 21st or 26th, one of those 2 dates of 2021, Hopkins' attorney came to us and said, we want to settle both. I said, well, I'd rather have the hearing. And he said, no, we'll settle. And everything was settled. But part of the settlement, this answers your question now, was that we did not need the February 2nd.
So everything you
continuation
said
of the
before,
November
this
18th
answers
civil
your
stalking
question, was
protective
not
order
an
was
answer
paid
to the question.
Because Hopkins agreed to a 5-year voluntary civil protection order.
All right. And I'm just going to ask you to confirm that what the settlement agreement that you're referring to is Plaintiff 37. I'm approaching you with Plaintiff 37. Just to confirm, this is what you're discussing for this settlement agreement, correct?
1 second, Counselor.
This guy's a worse liar than Sal. I am not a good liar.
Okay. I'm trying to answer your question.
The
but I
question
wanna
was,
be
this is
clear.
the settlement agreement
This
you were
is the
referring to, correct?
final version of the settlement agreement signed by all parties.
All right. And I'm approaching you with what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 36. Is this the civil protective order to which you are referring?
Take one look. Yes, it is.
Okay.
This is it.
After those were signed, or the date that those were signed, did you have any outstanding litigation with Tim Hopkins?
Not at all.
Okay.
Everything was settled.
Obviously, that wasn't the end of it. How long did these 2 documents keep a lid on things?
Mr. Hopkins
Oh, Mr. Hopkins.
had to agree with this, had to abide by this, and started one by one breaking it. So the lights started coming back on, the intense spotlight. I tell you this, he didn't scream at us anymore or say F you. I'll give him that. The backfire started almost the last day or 2 of April, and I ignored it. Came back again early May, and again May 5th. And I called the police and said, I do not want to press charges against this man. Maybe he's upset about something. Could you just talk to him? I am not pressing charges. We had a settlement agreement. I have been through hell with everything he did to me. I simply want peace. So
you're
please
one of
talk
those,
to him and just let
I
him
don't
know
want to
that
press charges, but can
breaking
you
it.
talk to him,
So I
please?
called him.
Thank
And he did it
you.
again. I've got all this on film. I've got all
I
the
don't want to
footage.
press charges.
Did it again. Finally, on May 10th, it got really bad, multiple times a day. And I said, okay,
Oh, he's loving the attention.
it's got to stop.
When you say it
Wonder
got
what
really
she'd
bad,
love it
what
if
do you
he
mean by
saw
it
our
got really
streams.
bad?
Backfiring multiple times going back. And may I add, please,
Sure.
I want to get this.
If you see
From
this,
the date this was signed, from
I feel
when they
bad.
made the
I
agreement
take back nothing.
in January. Because I
I
said, this
take
is the
back
final
nothing,
version.
and I don't
There
feel
was
bad at
actually
all.
initial version on a piece of paper. We agreed to everything and they finalized it. It took a month or so.
You are
There
no
was
cum
no
dog, sir.
backfiring, no lights, no screaming, no dog poop, no vulgar music, no screaming at my daughter or throwing stuff at my wife. It was calm. I got my life back. And it was fine until that very late April, first week of May, it kept escalating. And on May 10th, I called the police.
And was Mr. Hopkins ultimately arrested for that?
On May 14th.
And Your Honor,
And I made
next set
sure
of
to go to his
questions will get
arraignment.
into, the articles that are in question, if there's a comfort break or
Well, I think we'll break for the day.
now, or would you like me to begin?
Okay. So let's start today. We'll go for a little bit till hell is stream. Doo-doo-doo.
Thomas Grossman and Charles Diane Mitzi Goebel required me to move immediately from my Mason ADA compliant residence. Have you ever demanded that the defendant move?
No,
Does that appear in any of the settlement agreement?
not at all.
Does it appear in the civil protective order?
No.
Exhibit 2, page 6. There's a section that says, my family incurred significant stress from having to abandon our home as mandated by State of OH Prosecutor Bethany Bennett, by Tom Grossman, and Charles Diane and Mitzi Goebel. Did I read that correctly?
You read it correctly.
Once again, at any point did you require the defendant to move?
No.
Exhibit 2, page 6. You've already answered questions about this statement, but I would like to, it's repeated on page 6. I'm going to read it into the record. In short, Grossman and Goebbels did all this to coerce me into paying $54,000 by using fraud on a court, fraud against my family, lying to Mason Police, lying to Mason Municipal Court, and lying to judges at Warren County Common Pleas Court. Have you ever committed fraud on a court?
Never.
Have you ever committed fraud at all?
Never.
Have you ever lied to the police?
No.
Have you ever lied to a Mason Municipal Court?
Have you ever annoyed a
No.
jury?
Have you lied to a judge in this county?
No.
Let's turn to
Yeah, I had an erection.
In the last 6
Okay.
months.
on
Years.
page 1.
Yes.
We did not socialize or speak to Charles, Diane, and Melissa Goebel and went out of our way to avoid our neighbor. If you recall, yesterday you testified that you were neighborly with Mr. Hopkins, but do you believe this statement to be true?
Neighborly.
It's a lie.
Exhibit page 1, you could just confirm that this is on page 1. Does page 1 say the restrictive covenant affords Goebel's final say on anything improvement on our property?
The page says this lie, yes.
Okay. Other than the restrictive covenant that's already in evidence, are there any other restrictive covenants on the defendant's property of which you're aware?
To answer your question, sir, other than in evidence, are you speaking of the entire deed where it lists several?
Correct.
Yes, then there's no other restrictive covenant anywhere.
All right. And does that deed give you final say over every improvement on the defendant's property?
Absolutely
Wonder
not.
what's in Judge's drink. Look at it.
Exhibit 3, page 1.
Like,
Goebbels kept this restrictive covenant from me for 14 years. Did you take any
Touches off his
affirmative
face.
action to hide the defendant's own deed from him?
No.
Exhibit 3, page 1. It's in bold and it's underlined. The Mason police were at Hopkins residence 51 times in 96 days, representing 63.85% of all police activity on Maxwell Drive from May 8th through late August of 2020. Did you observe the police to actually go to the Hopkins residence at all?
I want to answer the question.
The question was about what
Yes.
you personally observed.
I would very, very rarely see a policeman going down the street. 51 times, I would be shocked. I might have observed less than a handful of times during this period of police on our street.
That you personally observed.
That I observed, yes, sir.
Did you ever observe a police car at the Hopkins residence from May 8th through August 2020?
Well, yes, sir. I asked for a citizen assist on May 8th. So it could be recorded when I tried to give Tim Hopkins the deed when he told me what I had to say to the jury yesterday. That was one time. Other than that, I did not observe any that comes to mind.
Page 2, Charles Diane Goebel ramped up their harassment of my family in an effort to push a monetary settlement that included conditions. Did you have any contact with Tim Hopkins outside of court after, well, let's say after May of 2020?
Yes.
What contact did you have with him outside
Do
of
you
court?
call, outside the courtroom, do you call the death threat outside the courthouse? Is that still the court?
If that's
The
how
only-
you interpret it, then yes.
Okay, so I'm
I
gonna
can't answer your question, sir. However you interpret the question,
Yes.
please answer.
Did you guys
So
not talk
I
about this
interpret this
beforehand?
question, when was my last contact with Tim Hopkins? And after the
No,
May
I don't
8th
think they did.
doorbell rang, there was only
Okay,
two.
like-
He ran over my feet at Magistrate Hasselbach's, and then he
They do make
made
me
a
look
death
tense.
threat on October
I'm
1st,
getting more D than them.
2020. But no, I had no contact other than when he was coming to me. I did not say a word, not spoken to him since May 8th, 2020.
Exhibit 3, page 3 at the bottom.
Yes.
What I know to be true and have learned so far. The alleged death threat did not occur. Is this true?
It occurred, excuse me, yes, it
It
is.
occurred.
Also, on page 4.
Yep.
It is not possible for me to make the car create the sound as heard in the audio video. Have you altered the video in any manner?
So if that question is it not possible for him to make it, I can't answer that, but have I altered it? Absolutely not. I don't know how to do that. I don't even know if it could be
I
done.
believe
No.
that.
Let's move on to exhibit 4.
Dude's a boomer.
All righty.
We're going to move to page 5 to a section titled Who Lied, When, and Where.
Got it.
Who lied, when, and where? Grossman and Goebel have submitted court documents with a manufactured death threat that never happened and have lied on 15 occasions and or sections of provided files and images. I will simply ask, is this true?
Neither Grossman nor Goebel did that. It is untrue.
Page 5, Mr. Goebel has committed perjury 15 times in court transcripts related to a manufactured death threat. Did I read that correctly?
You read it correctly.
Has your testimony before the courts in Warren County been true?
It's been true every time, sir.
Have your sworn statements been true?
Absolutely.
Page 6, Thomas Grossman, Charles and Diane Goebel lied to Magistrate Hasselbach, Magistrate Crossley Tate, Judge Oda, Mason Police, Mason City Government, and
That's
Warren
Yoda.
County Sheriff Department, manufacturing a death threat in order to leverage Hopkins into paying a large sum of money and to have further control over Hopkins and his property. My first question would be, is this a true statement?
It is not a true statement.
And then I have some follow-up questions. There are a number of people listed here individually. I'm going to ask, have you ever offered testimony to Magistrate Hasselbach?
Testimony. No.
I'll ask the question differently. Have you ever appeared in court before Magistrate Hasselbach?
Yes, I have.
Have you ever appeared in court before Magistrate Crossley Tate?
Yes.
Have you ever appeared in court in front of Judge Oda?
Yes.
Have you spoken to the Mason Police?
Yes, I have.
Have you spoken to the Mason City Government?
Yeah, does the police count when I made a phone call?
However you interpret the question,
I-
so I
I
can't answer your
contact-
question.
Called
them,
the
you spoke
police
to
on
them?
May 7th and asked for a neutral observer.
Goddamn
So if
idiot.
that is to answer your question, other than that, no, that I recall.
Have you spoken with the Warren County Sheriff's Department?
When the death threat occurred, and I let Tim Hopkins leave so he wouldn't run over me again, I went and spoke to the deputy
With his
at
wheelchair,
where
sir.
the metal detector is, and I told him what happened on October 1st. And he said, go get a application to meet with a magistrate named Tate Crossley Tate. So I did speak to a sheriff, a deputy, pardon me.
Okay. Let's move to Exhibit 5.
Okay.
Move.
So I knew that would happen. I'm sorry.
We'll get it in a minute. On page 3 of Exhibit 5,
Okay, page 3.
They did not want their lies, their fraud to the court system, and system-wide corruption to be exposed. Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Have you lied to the court system?
No.
Have you committed fraud?
No.
Have you participated in system-wide corruption?
No.
We're going to move to Exhibit 6.
No.
We're going to pick up the pace just a little bit here.
Yes, sir. Okay. Got it.
Page 2.
Yep.
Thomas Grossman, Charles Diane Goebel, as well as the city of Mason and Warren County have violated Hopkins state and federal civil right, along with all of the key players who wittingly or unwittingly participated in this conspiracy. Were you ever sued for a violation of Tim Hopkins' civil rights?
I leave all of his suits and allegations, I leave to my attorney, and I don't want to answer incorrectly. He has sued me for so many things. I don't know if that was one of the ones that he did in a counterclaim or an actual claim. So I don't know the answer.
Okay.
Can you throw me a bone, sir?
We're going to move to page 5. Sorry, exhibit 7.
Thank you.
Rather. And we'll start on page 3.
Got it. Okay. All right.
On page 3, there's a portion that begins, "This is dispositive proof." Do you see it?
Yes.
This is dispositive proof that Mr. Goebel lied in his April 4th, 2022 affidavit and October 6th, 2020 ex parte hearing transcript. Again, is this a true statement?
No.
On exhibit 7, page 8. What I know to be true.
All righty.
The death threat was a lie. Is that accurate?
I can't say it enough. I swear the death threat happened.
Okay. Thank you, sir. After Free Purple Lambo, did you become aware of any other publications made by the defendant?
Yes.
What were those?
The Cincinnati Enquirer front page.
When did you first become aware of that?
The day it came out. I believe that was July 12th, possibly 2022.
All right. I'm going to approach you with what's been marked as Plaintiff's Exhibit 1A.
Have we seen this?
No, I don't think so.
Is that the article to which you're
Cincinnati
referring?
Enquirer?
It is.
Front page?
Where did that physical copy of the Enquirer come from?
Well, always answer 100% truthfully. I got one from several people. I've about 6 or 8 of them, somewhere in that range, and I grabbed one to give you for evidence. So most likely the odds are that it came from someone that said, hey, you're famous, look at this. A lot of people did it. I get the Enquirer, but I cannot verify that this particular one was the Enquirer. And I have full disclosure, I stopped the Enquirer at one point, the paper Enquirer, and just read it online. I have a current subscription to it. So to answer your question, I can't be certain, but I'll bet you the odds are tremendous. This was handed to me by a friend, neighbor, someone in the community, and said,
I
You're
thought they
famous.
hated him.
All right. We've already talked extensively about the content of this article. Are the claims made by Mr. Hopkins in this article true?
absolutely not. They're-
Right.
no.
When did you become aware of this article?
The day it came out,
And now that you have it in front of you, can you verify when that is?
I guess, right? I was right. July 12th of 2022.
All right. Let's talk specifically about what impact this article had on your life. When you found out about this article, what impact did it have on your life?
I had an appointment with Dr. Thomas that day, coincidentally, and showed him, or we discussed it. We discussed it and went home, and like I say, many people approached me. I had well into the 40s, number over 40, email, text, phone call, even a sympathy card, which I still have.
A sympathy card.
I was afraid to get out of the house because now suddenly my wife and myself and my family are extortionists and felons and liars. And when like I said yesterday, people would come up to me and say, how could you do this? When I say do this, I'm referring to extort him and not tell him about anything until the concrete was poured. And then this poor guy, make him go through all this and force him to leave his house, mandate it. None of that is true. My life simply is my family, friends, neighbors, and community. And I like to give
Doesn't
to
have
all of
any
them.
friends.
And I
And my
couldn't.
twink
So how did
masseuse.
it impact my life? Horribly.
We heard from Dr. Thomas and Dr. Buhner that you started having panic attacks. When did those start?
Beta.
On or about
This
mid-May
He's definitely gluten intolerant.
of 2022.
What happened in mid-May of 2022?
I've been dealing with the free purple Lambo and all the fallout from the lies Tim Hopkins published to the neighborhood, the community, friends, and family.
Probably scared of
Well,
peanuts too.
do you recall the first panic attack that you ever had?
Interesting enough, it was, no. I had one when I first, and it was a mild one, in very late April, after I saw Ron Hopkins thing on Facebook and clicked Free Purple Lambo. And that's when I took Dr. Lem's advice to call a psychiatrist that he recommended and made an appointment. I believe it was May 2nd of
Triggered by an
2022 with
acorn.
Dr. Thomas.
So you trailed off there. You said, I
sorry.
believe I had a mild one when,
Yeah, it was late April 2022 is to the best of my recollection.
tell me, did those panic attacks progress? Tell me about the history of your panic attacks.
The first one was mild. I felt what was later, I found that was called dissociation, where you're,
Like the jury's
your
doing
body.
with this testimony.
and I've never had that. It's scary. It scares the hell out of you. And I came back and I said, I know I got to see Dr. Thomas. So he told me that's a panic attack. But boy, did they get worse as Hopkins litigation kept up and the stress kept up. The dissociation, you leave your body. So that's one thing with a panic attack. You always come back, I guess, but you don't think you do. Or you don't think you're going to at the time.
Tell me what else you experience when you have these panic attacks.
A bad one? I'll tell you what a bad one is.
Of
You don't
course
want to
you will.
live. You hope you don't come back.
We
Everyone
hope
on
you
the
don't
jury
come
knows
back.
The worst one.
Everyone on the
was
jury knows the
my wife's
feeling.
birthday. I always remember that, February 16th.
Oh,
I
this
don't want to
part's
forget
so
that. I'll be in
cringe.
trouble. But it was February 16th when I had a deposition under George Parker for 8 hours. And again,
Oh, poor George
came on.
Parker.
left the body and I went to the floor and rolled around and kept yelling, why am I having to go through all this? And
That's
I
us
cannot
right now.
tell you with certainty how long that lasted, but I remember my wife was there and just kept trying to hug me and just, they're horrible. And you can't tell when they're coming. That's the worst thing.
I'm coming. You can't say I'm coming.
Did these articles?
And around and kept yelling, why
Damn you
why
all,
am I having to go through all this? And I cannot tell you with certainty how long that lasted, but I remember my wife was there and just kept trying to hug me and just, but they're horrible. And you can't tell when they're coming. That's the worst thing.
Did these articles impact
Your wife's
or article
lovers?
on the website impact your health in any other ways?
It's been a decade.
Nightmares, panic attacks,
She's-
and flashbacks to
It
all
was
the
coming.
incidents previously mentioned earlier in this case.
Well, walk me through, and just very briefly, flashbacks to which incidents?
The death threat was huge. The frustration of having this settled, signed on in January, late January of 2021, it was done. The CPO said the civil stalking protective order.
Meanwhile, the jury's seen this guy, the defendant, testify with one leg in a wheelchair,
Mm.
in a sling, a cripple.
Mm-hmm.
So this man is responsible for all the problems in your life.
Yo.
Your dick not working and everything else going on. Responsible for, the war in the Middle East, Serbia
Climate
and
change.
Kosovo, climate change.
And he's running around on the floor going, I can't come.
Oh, interesting, Connor. George Parker, the judge reported him to state Supreme Court for unethical activity when he was a prosecutor, and Parker was a judge.
Who hates their guts?
George Parker and this peeler, this judge.
Okay. Right. Well, no one really likes each other here.
So,
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to put myself in his position. If a guy with one leg in a wheelchair threatened me, I'd have a story for the rest of my life. That would be hilarious. Even if I was mildly disconcerted, I still think it'd be kind of funny. Unless he had a weapon with him.
Yeah, I mean, it is America. He could have like a lot of weapons.
That's true. He could. But if we're in a courthouse, then you just got to pull up your wheelchair ramp to your house. I'm not trying to be insensitive,
You're being a little bit insensitive.
Well, I am, but for the record, I can make these jokes because I once lost the ability to walk for a few months.
Oh,
So,
really? Okay, so
I did
you
when I was
once
20.
lost the ability to walk for a few months.
I did. So
you
I
can
am.
identify with a man who's lost his
Well, I
leg
can
to
identify
sepsis.
with not being able to walk and having that inconvenience
Okay.
or
Like
inconvenience.
I've got a
bit of
black friend too.
I know. I mean, it kind of is like, I've got
Yeah.
a black friend. I've got a disability, And he did run over the tip, his toe, his little tootsies. He ran over his
Yeah,
tootsies.
he ran over his tootsie, so therefore he knows what it's like.
David.
He had a limp. Not just a limp dick.
No, he had 2 limbs.
2 limps.
Please story. I was 20. Not really sure what caused it. I developed a vitamin B12 deficiency, and it was over several months, and I slowly lost the ability to walk. I fell a bunch and eventually was hospitalized, and they did tests, realized it was B12, and had to get shots in my ass for like a month, and good times.
Shots in your ass, eh?
Good times.
Yeah, David, that too.
Agreed to. He voluntarily agreed to it. The driveway, the real estate thing is done. And he had to stop all of these things doing to me and my family. It was over. That was January. He negotiated with Tom Grossman because he didn't have an attorney at the time. And they settled. No, I think he did. Bradley Gibson, pardon me. It was settled and signed late March of 2021. And it was over. It was over. I could get my life back. I could maybe have an amicable relationship with him. I was willing to do that.
What?
Go back to normal. But obviously he had no intentions of that. And it's just so frustrating.
So my question was, when you say flashbacks to these incidents, and you had mentioned the death threat, you had mentioned the settlement agreement, are there any other incidents that you're leading out?
I'm maybe trying to speed this up. The threatening music, the threats he made in emails, the sounds of gunshots, the sounds of screeching brakes, and then a crash to wake you up and sweat. The fact
Especially
that I can't
that
sleep in my
black
bedroom
music.
because there's intense spotlights. All of those bad memories, and I'm trying to be brief, counselor, but all of those memories come back in a flashback, and you're there, even though it isn't in 2020 or 2021 when he does it. You're there. If it's 2022, 2023, you go back to there. That's what I mean by a flashback.
Did that stop at any point, or is that still continuing today?
That's 2 questions.
Did that stop at any
No.
point?
Is it continuing to a much lesser degree?
Now the plaintiff is like criticizing his lawyer for the questions he's asking. That's 2 questions. You're not doing your job right, sir. God, this guy is so obnoxious. And I get he's stressed. I get he's nervous and wants to finally tell his story. But he does not come off well. And I'm sure could be a delight in person. Maybe not. But the defendant was on the stand for only a couple hours. I don't believe they call him back to the stand. So he gave pretty minimal testimony and did not look like a complete ass. He kind of looked sad, which I'm sure was the defense's strategy, but they pulled it off. He didn't lose his temper. One of the first things the defendant said to the plaintiff's lawyer was, well, there's 3 sides to every story. You know, yours, mine, and the truth. So he admitted that there's a middle ground between the two of them. Like he was capable of thinking that through in this conflict. Whereas this guy is just like, and he's telling lies. Oh, you mean his lies that he told? It really he did some things that he was an asshole, but I don't know how much I have a hard time separating how much is exaggerated versus what he actually did. And if he just thinks, and do I think the defendant was lying when he made these statements? Intentionally lying, like he believed they were lies? No. He 100% believed they were true.
No, I think everyone here thinks that they're 100% right because they're narcissists.
It's just, this guy is just exaggerating everything, and it just rubs me the wrong way.
Has he
Have
called
you had
him
any
a
flashbacks
narcissist
recently?
yet?
I did.
Could you tell the jury about your most recent flashback?
Oh God, I don't even want to know.
This was innocent. I'm not blaming my daughter for this. She's lovely and I love her. It's laughable now, but it wasn't at the time. She knows I'm a big Clint Eastwood fan, old Western movies.
God, this story.
So she bought one of these life-size pictures, cardboard props, where you can lift them up and a little stand. And I've been thinking about how there's a case coming up in October. We got this thing keeps going on and on. I just want it over. And so she thought it'd be funny if she put this statue of Clint Eastwood up as a gift to me or whatever. Well, I go downstairs and it's the last thing on my mind. And I turn and see this, and I was right back, Tim Hopkins, wheeling up, finger in the face with that guttural whisper. I saw that, and it's terrible. It was unintentional on her part. I am not blaming her, but it's things like that that has impacted my life.
Clint Eastwood.
How recently was that?
A few months ago. It happened twice, actually. She got the thing out again, not to scare.
Wait, so after it triggered this huge PTSD and this whole traumatic episode for you, and your daughter did all this accidentally, and she didn't mean to do it, of course. She went and did it again and triggered you again. I mean, okay, you know what? I kind of want to meet this guy's daughter because she sounds like a hoot. I'm just going to say she's kind of based. If she's just like bringing the cardboard cutout whenever she's mad at her dad just to like traumatize him, that's kind of funny.
But we were going to watch a movie tonight.
His own daughter is
But it's
trolling him.
twice that happened.
Let me ask you a different question. Has that gotten better over time?
Yes.
How significantly better?
Less frequent, less intense, but it's still there. It's still there.
Okay. And I've already asked you when they started. Could you tell me about how the relationship with your wife was impacted by these publications?
Diane is,
I object. I think we already covered this ground yesterday.
Well, let's see where this goes. I don't think we're going to repeat. I hope.
Relationship with your wife was impacted. Could you tell me about how the relationship with your wife was impacted by these publications?
He's soft.
Diane
He's
is,
limp.
Your Honor, I object. I think we already covered this ground yesterday.
Yeah, we covered his limp dick yesterday, Your Honor.
Well, let's see where this goes. I don't think we're going to repeat. I hope not to repeat things that have already been covered.
I don't want to
It's hard for
discuss
me
your
to know,
client's
so
dick
I'll rule the
more than we
objection
have
because I
to.
don't know
Surely you
exactly
understand.
where you're going with this.
And Judge, I'll just re-ask the question. It's purely a chronology question. After these publications, specifically, and only after these publications, tell me if your relationship with your wife was impacted.
Be so brief. Okay. I hear you, Mr. Rice. My love life and my relationship with my wife is completely different after the publications. Diane, as I told Dr. Thomas, it's asexual because of me, not her. It's
Asexual.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Judge.
It isn't me.
Yes, the relationship's very different. I can't be what I used to be with my wife. The things are slightly improving, but extremely different. When it comes to the physical part, very, very different. And it happened in my mind because of the stress from the publications, which the whole thing started, the neighbors, family, friends, neighbors and community. It's just different, counselor, very different.
You
And it's
trying to
very
be a
negative in some
self-confident,
ways, but
Ali?
I'd like to be positive. She's been extremely supportive and we have a good relationship. We always have.
May I have 1 moment of counsel?
She's trying to be supportive, so she bought a vibrator. Aw, the look on his face, the woodgy face.
I am so
Sir, have you-
confused as to why the sexual relationship has come into this at all.
Oh my God, he's crying.
Let me ask you a little bit more about these panic
Sir,
attacks.
have you
Yes.
bought a
Do you have an
Baldo?
estimate of how frequently you have a panic attack?
They're
Okay, I really want to find this guy's address and send him a Baldo.
Legit, right? I'm confused. Why did the sexual relationship come into this at all? Because he said at the beginning of his testimony that it was to do with his medication.
Medication.
Right,
Unless
so-
he's saying that his condition was exacerbated, so he had to take more medication, which then gave him a limp dick.
Does he really think that the situation with the sex is going to get him that much more money that it's worth putting his wife
Yeah,
through having to testify about low testosterone and a dry vagina and all this stuff? Like, does he really think it's worth it?
yeah. Like you just opened up everything in your life.
Literally.
Amber Heard made that mistake with Johnny Depp. She sued for countersued for emotional distress and everything.
Well, I mean, there's emotional distress, right? And there's sexual dysfunction.
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
allows you
he
to
didn't
go
have
into
to.
it a lot more.
Yeah, okay. So I'm not that familiar with where the line is drawn with emotional distress. Do you have to bring in your sex life? I
Well,
don't
he's
think you
suing
have
for
to.
lack of, or loss of consortium.
Loss of what?
Like you're able to sue for your sex life being ruined.
Exactly. Right.
Like if you're in an accident and your dick falls off, and you no longer have
he
sex.
didn't have to bring that in.
No, but
And
because
he
he
did.
did, then they were able to go into all of it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you bring that in? Is it really worth it, dude? He's got a lot of money already,
Yeah.
right? Was it worth it to bring your wife into this? All of your sex life stuff, was it fucking worth it? I don't really think
Yeah.
so.
I wish I could sue someone for my lack of a sex life.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Oaks.
several times a month and much more frequent.
Well, someone
Not
needs to
necessarily
send
good,
it
but
to him.
immediately after an onslaught of legal issues.
I'd love for to interview
Has that
him.
been consistent since 2022?
Maybe I'm missing a whole lot from this
Consistent, I'll
picture.
answer it that way, sir. The first one wasn't bad. The crescendo and got worse. It got better.
I'll interview
either
Once
one of them.
again, it's directly
You could not interview
correlated
this
to
guy.
the amount of
Sure, he could.
God, you're right.
I
you'd be
would-
like,
I would-
Hella, come help me.
I would let him say whatever he wants.
Okay, I would just
Because I
bow
couldn't
out that
stop
day.
him. But
You'd be fine without me that day.
I won't get Dave. I'd prefer wheelchair guy because he's pretty badass and funny.
And you'd be fine with wheelchair guy?
I would, yeah, because we could, laugh about throwing shit in his yard and all that fun stuff. We could bond over that. But I mean, no, I would have to people with him. But
You don't like peopling.
I don't at all.
No.
And it's not even him. But it would be worth it to interview him.
Oh, it'd be great to have him on. I'm just saying that you couldn't handle this guy.
Maybe I'll have Max Mira back on and get some practice with that first.
I
think this guy's even worse than Max.
You'd be stuck with him talking for hours and you'd be like,
I know. And I wouldn't be able to get away backstage
you
quick
wouldn't be
enough.
able to get away.
I'd be trapped there for an hour. And he wouldn't realize like you can just leave and
Yeah. And you'd be like, Helen, come on and get rid of him for me.
Please.
Please save me.
Call it legal assaults, but just the amount of legal things I have to deal with in this case. And so is it consistent? It's consistently correlated with the legal matter.
Do you recall an incident where you jumped under a table while
Yes.
having a flashback? Could you please describe that incident to the jury?
It reminded me of
A balloon
Nom.
pop.
A balloon pop?
Well, could you explain to them
Yes,
where you were
I'm
when this
trying.
happened?
I'm trying. I believe it was my grandchild's birthday party, and they thought it'd be funny to pop a balloon. And I was not, the last thing on my mind, I was away from all the legal stuff, away from Mr. Hopkins, and trying to enjoy time with one of my 9 grandkids. And one of my 9 grandkids, and I believe I know him, he's the one that always causes trouble, there's always one, popped a balloon, and I dove under the table. It was the same feeling I got when the noises came from his speakers when I was sleeping in the bedroom and heard gunshots. Then I just realized, what am I doing here? Stop it. And I couldn't. I couldn't at the time. I came back right away and everything was fine. But yes, he asked me to describe it. That's what happened.
Very briefly, we heard from Dr. Chung that you were a model patient. Do you recall him saying that?
I do.
Could you explain to the jury what you have done, what steps you have taken to get your health under control?
Again, Your Honor, I believe we covered this yesterday as well.
Overruled.
Dr. Chung, as well as my other doctor, said it's so simple with sarcoid, it's sleep, lower stress. Sleep, lower stress. Same thing I told Hopkins in 2008 when I had the sarcoid. And I have followed that. There's one more thing, medication. And Dr. Chung kept introducing it until the medication went up to help the ejection fraction. So to answer your question, I've attempted to lower stress, get sleep, and be completely compliant, to be a good patient when it comes to
start a
not
year-long
coming up
bitch
to work
fit with my neighbor.
taking the heart medications, of which there's 4 I have to take at various times during the day, just to protect the heart. So I believe some people aren't as disciplined or whatever with heart medication and don't get the results. So, but he says I am, and I think that's what he's referring to. So those 3 things: sleep, stress, medication. Camille, I've kept my weight off and exercise. That was another. Okay.
My last question for you, Dr. Goebel. Why does it bother you so much to be called an extortionist or a perjurer?
I don't think anyone likes being called something they're not, especially if it's a felon. I've never been a felon.
Wow.
It's not me. I don't want to be viewed as that. I want to be viewed with my community, family, friends, and neighbors as a good man. A felon is not a good man. An extortionist is not a.
Wow. Way to go ahead and alienate everyone on the jury who's has a family that's been convicted of a felony. Felons aren't good people.
I never thought of that. Felons aren't good people, darling.
they make mistakes, but it's still very judgmental,
Well, yeah. Look,
and they can recover. It's still okay. You have a loved one. Someone on the jury is a loved one. That's probably not the best thing to say.
maybe, but yeah, I don't think that's too much of a reach to say a felon is not a good person.
He's very he loathes felons, but he also doesn't like black people music, and
He doesn't.
it's not a reach to think all that. Yeah, my bro's
How
a felon.
rude! Yeah.
Dolly is sweeping for Arcata now. Hey, he only had a misdemeanor, I think.
Did he? Was that a
Oh,
misdemeanor?
it was he was charged with a felony, but I think it
Oh.
was like pled down to a misdemeanor.
Yeah.
I think my brother is a felony. Actually, yeah, because he can't have a pew-pew. So
No pew pew for you.
I know. Yeah, my brother is awesome and a felon. Yeah. Yeah, and there's some felon family members on that jury. So he's not coming off very likable.
Look, he wasn't anyway.
Well, true.
He wasn't saving that big moment of hateability until now.
Yeah.
He's been a complete prick for the last 2 hours. Anyway, I'm off to get my stream ready.
Okay. I will end in a few and send him over
Ciao.
to you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Good man.
Wait, what? All Schedule 1 and 2 drug possession charges except marijuana are automatically felonies in Ohio. So I would imagine almost everyone on that jury knows a felon who isn't a bad person. Yeah. Oops. Wait.
A perjurer is not a good man. And now it's plastered all over Cincinnati and northern Kentucky. It's plastered all over the internet. Lord knows.
Oh no, the people of Kentucky are judging me. People like DUI guy are going to think less of me.
Where? My Facebook groups. It bothers me. It's something
My
I'm not.
Facebook friends think less of me.
Thank you, Dr. Goebel.
Cross-examination.
We'll go for 1 minute, then end it.
Good morning,
We're
Dr.
about to
Goebel.
end, Jim.
Good morning, Mr. Rice.
And did you meet with your counsel prior to your testimony today? To go over your testimony?
I said good morning. I believe I said good morning to you, sir. I met you.
I said
I said good morning to my counsel, to Mr. McMurtry, and I said good morning to you. You look puzzled.
Good. Yeah, it's a good morning. It's a beautiful day outside. I agree with you.
So I met with you.
Have we had a discussion about anything that happened in this case?
No, but that's not what your question was. You said, did I meet with
Let
my
me just
counsel?
interject something. Sure. What he's asking is, did you actually meet with your attorneys this morning?
No, I'm sorry. I did not understand your question. I did not meet with my
He didn't shut
attorneys
up
this
and let
morning.
him listen.
Have you, my question was, have you met with your lawyers to prepare for your testimony today?
No, not today. I did in
No,
the
not
past.
today, ever.
Of course, I've, in the case, they've asked what happened, and I told them,
Did you review with Mr. Grody his questions that he was going
Grody.
to ask you today?
no.
And about how many times have you met with either Ms. McMurtry or Mr. Grody?
I was told not to guess. The best estimate I can give, okay, might be 10. Some were as quick as, can you please, do you have any photographs of the junk pile Mr. Hopkins put in there? And that was a meeting. I dropped them off.
Okay. And again, as His Honor has instructed you, if you could try, Mr. Goebel, just answer my question. I didn't ask you what happened during the meetings, and I don't want to know that any attorney-client. I was just asking about the amount of time.
Thank you.
Or the number of times. And I take it you met with Mr. Grossman repeatedly about your various litigations.
Yes.
And you spoke on the phone with him repeatedly about the various litigations.
Yes.
Now, you just finished speaking about the effect that the Cincinnati Enquirer article had on you, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And would you agree that that article starts off by saying that Mr. Hopkins was arrested for violating a protection order and spent 4 days in jail and faces charges for marijuana cultivation?
Yes, sir. I didn't want to cut you off. I'm going to look at it. It's right here.
Sure.
He's arrested for marijuana cultivation. Yes, it's on the front page below the picture that he was arrested for violating a civil protection order, spent 4 days in jail. He's also facing charges for the cultivation and possession of marijuana in the Warren County Common Pleas Court.
And I take it that that part of the article didn't cause you any angst or problem with your neighbors.
That part did not.
And then it also says that that Hopkins believes there was an extortion attempt by Goebels and lawyer Grossman, right? He uses the word believes. If you look at the fourth paragraph.
Pardon me, I thought you were done talking. I did not interrupt you. Please proceed.
Yeah, I believe on the fourth paragraph, Hopkins believes all this is part of an extortion attempt by his neighbor Charles Goebel and Goebel's lawyer, Warren County Commissioner Tom Grossman.
Yes, sir. You read it, that my name, Charles Goebel, and Warren County Commissioner Tom Grossman's names are there, part of an extortion attempt.
But my question was, it also says believes, correct? That Hopkins believes.
Well, it says that, but it also says
that was my question, sir.
Yes,
Again,
believe is
we'll
enough.
do a lot better, okay? So just listen closely to my question and just answer that part of it. And your counsel, if he wants to follow up on something, get back up here and do that.
Yes, sir.
Oh boy. So we're gonna end this here. Redirect you over to Hella. She is doing Corey Richards. Some interesting Brady issues going on. Hey Phil, how you doing? How's everyone's libido this evening? Yeah, it's definitely gone downhill. That's for sure. My God, this direct was just ooh. But we're gonna be back tomorrow for Cross and hopefully wrap this up. So I am gonna send y'all over. Yes, Babu. Yes, I'm gonna send y'all over to Hella right now. And I'll be back 10 o'clock for courtroom roulette tomorrow, and 5 Eastern. We'll finish this up. Assuming there's no, assuming the tropical storm I'm getting doesn't like knock anything out, but it should be fine. So yep, Hella should have started already, and yes, Babu. Yeah, you agree? So what? What? Yeah. Okay. Should have already started. She's probably waiting for me. Sorry, Hella. All right, I'm gonna end now. Shall see you guys in a bit. Bye.